With your host, Sally Mayweather. Yeah. You already know. Let's go. Welcome to the subversive spectrum with your host, Sally Mayweather. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Subversive spectrum with your host Sally Mayweather. Let's go. Let's go. Sally Mayweather. Let's go. Welcome to the subversive.
This is Freedom Dollar, FUSD, the world's first privacy-focused stablecoin built on the Zano blockchain. Unlike traditional stablecoins, FUSD is decentralized, censorship-resistant, and private by default. Each FUSD is over-collateralized with Zano and pegged to the US dollar using a decentralized algorithm. There's no CEO, no company, no central authority. FUSD is governed entirely by open source code and community consensus. Anyone can run a market-making node to help maintain the peg and further decentralize the network. All collateral and peg data are transparently published and verifiable at freedomdollar.com. CBDCs and corporate stablecoins can be frozen, tracked, and censored. FUSD can't. Use FUSD to spend, save, or transfer stable value without giving up your freedom. Freedom Dollar, private, stable, unapologetically unbanked. freedomdollar.com.
What's up? What's up? What's up? Porcfest. Welcome to episode, what are we on?
40.
Episode 40 of the Subversive Spectrum. This is a special episode. We're usually only live on Wednesday evening, 7:30 p.m. But I figured, shit, we might as well celebrate.
Bonus episodes.
Bonus episode. So here we are. We have a rotating cast of characters for you guys watching. A bunch of degenerates, including our first guest, Dr. Simon Godek. What's up, bud?
Hey, what's up? I'm a degenerate.
Well, you're gonna fit right in, dude.
Yeah, I know. That's why.
We all are. So we were actually just talking about you're the communist dictator in Brazil.
Dictator.
Dictator. You're not gonna get arrested for talking about this, are you?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah, he actually might.
So I might. Yeah, I'm not even joking. So Lula. Yeah. So the thing is, at least if you don't talk about, Alexandre de Moraes, who was like, the the judge. He's the real dictator, so he would get me arrested right away. So there are many Brazilians here in exile in the U.S. because they were persecuted in Brazil without having committed a crime because they were anti-socialists. So, I mean, I might live here soon as well after this podcast.
We will take all of the anti-socialist immigrants that we can get our hands on.
What?
Because I'm telling you, the only thing standing between the little boys and girls of Florida and forced genital mutilation from the shit libs are the Cuban refugees who got here on a fucking raft. That's the truth. That's the truth. Ask her.
Did she get
She will vouch for me. If it wasn't for the Cubans in Florida, the Democrats would be chopping the dicks off of little boys and performing radical double mastectomies on healthy 11-year-old girls. I swear to God, it's the truth. Am I right? She's nodding.
She agrees.
Yeah. It's the truth. That's what they're doing in New York. That's what they're doing in California because they don't have based Cuban refugees.
We need more of them, right?
Yes. So bring over all of the Brazilians who are trying to escape Lula's communism. Come to Florida. We will put you up. You can stay with Adam for a while.
Well, there's one thing. The right-wing Brazilian are in favor of cutting off dicks.
Wait, what?
Yes.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I don't understand.
Yeah, well.
Wait,
the right-wing Brazilians are all pro-Israel.
Oh.
What did they do?
Oh.
What did they cut off?
Yes. No, they bite it. They bite them off.
Oh, they suck them off.
That's a bris.
Yes.
That's a bris. You
It
ever
is.
see one of those in action, bro? It's rough.
I don't want to see it live.
Rough.
No, it must be rough. Yes.
Rough, yes. And that's why you can't see the Jeffrey Epstein list, guys. Because the president's son-in-law is a Mossad agent.
That's why you can have a good life, right?
That's why we are all debt slaves to the nation of Israel, and we're forced to pay for their genocide of children. I didn't get a chance to ask Grok how many children they murdered today, but usually I try to post that on Twitter.
I asked. He said it was close to 20,000.
Oh no, that's in the last 5 months. I'm talking the last 24 hours. If you ask, you'll get a number that's horrendous. You'll be horrified. It'll be 100
Grok.
136
woke
children.
leftist Grok.
No, the one on Twitter.
Yeah, it's woke. It's woke.
Is it?
Yes.
Really?
It's super woke.
I just ask it nutrition shit.
Okay.
I'm how many grams of protein are in 1.71 pounds of beef?
And what is Grok saying? What is a gram?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Trained on American data. Yeah.
Yeah, but I'll ask them and they'll be 100 and there was one it was just the other day there was a food aid site set up. Did you guys see this shit? It was I don't know, I guess these Palestinians showed up for food aid and they just mowed them down it was they were at some
They've done it several times.
Yeah, either 50 people, right? It's insane. Seeking food. There's a picture of a guy. I don't know. I might have posted, but it was so graphic that I might have not have posted it. He was dead, clutching a bag of flour in a pool of blood. And this is why groceries cost what they do, because you have to fund the slaughter of innocent people for Benjamin Netanyahu.
Yeah, but if you break the fingernail of a Jew,
right, well,
don't do this.
Yeah,
don't try this at home.
Yes, right, well, yeah. And look, I'm not anti-Jew. This whole account exists to promote the philosophy of Jews like Rothbard, Mises, Friedman, Hayek.
Yeah, they're amazing
Bayward.
Jews. They're amazing Jews. Probably amazing people. They were the best we had
They're
on
the
this
smartest
planet
people.
ever.
Yes, exactly. So it's
We're
not
anti-Zio, I guess.
Oh, I am fiercely anti-Zionist.
I know. Yeah,
I'm anti all states, but the whole idea of Zionism is just fucking absurd. Think about it. I've had Jewish friends and I've asked them, and they're like, well, the Jews have been run out of town by every government on earth. And I said, okay.
109 governments. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Well,
110 now. It's Melodies. 110.
Right. Well, 111 if you count the Palestinians. But yeah, so the idea is governments have always mistreated them. So we're going to design a government just for them. Does that make any sense? If the idea is to protect them from governments, why would you have a government dedicated entirely to managing the Jewish population?
And check what they do now. They don't let them leave the country. So you have a government for the Jews, and they're like, oh no, we had war. You can't leave Israel. So people are trying to flee Israel because they don't want to be involved in this conflict, right? And they don't let them go. So it's actually one.
Well, you're also using slavery to it's absurd. Everything that they accuse others of, they're actually guilty of, because it's all done through like a draft or like
Oh, last
mandatory
night. Oh
conscription.
my gosh, they bombed one of our hospitals.
Yes, I
You know how many the hospitals they bombed in Gaza?
It's insane.
36 out of 36.
But here's the difference. Iran is actually trying to hit military headquarters. I posted something today. There was like an IDF headquarters. It was
why did they use human shields?
Yeah, I know.
Right.
Yeah, but like the IDF was hiding out in that hospital. But actually, there was just something now, like today or yesterday. I think I showed you. It was like, you want to talk about a precision fucking strike? The Iranians dropped a missile right on the IDF like secret headquarters
in the parking lot.
and there's like a church
right?
and a school and a hospital, and all these places are untouched. But yet Israel can't. They have to annihilate the entire fucking country of Gaza because so you have to be a moron to believe that Hamas is like tunnels underground, like some kind of mole or something like that, and that you have to just destroy the entire country to kill like a handful of terrorists.
Yeah, it's like the Gaza Strip, and they say like the world's most moral army, and
Yeah,
there's
right.
no single house is still existing. Nothing.
That's not a war. That's an ethnic cleansing. When you get rid of a native population and replace it, and you clear the land and replace it with your own population, that's not war. If you actually look up the definition of ethnic cleansing, that's what an ethnic cleansing is. So it's like they say, oh well, the war in Gaza. Don't say the war in Gaza, because then it makes it seem like, well, look, they're at war, shit happens. It's not the case. The Palestinians don't have an air force, they don't have a navy, they don't have an army or a marine corps. They are just a people being slaughtered every day by a genocidal maniac, Benjamin Netanyahu.
So how many times are you called a terrorist sympathizer?
Oh my God, all the time. Like I don't even, at least like 5-10 times a day, more.
Yeah, more.
Yeah, more. You must get it all the time.
Oh wait, I'm like at least like 4-digit times a Nazi per day. I mean, like imagine the other. It's like you just have to, today I was saying like, okay, I think, nobody should kill another person in the name of God.
Right, yeah.
In all the comments, you're an
Anti-Semites.
anti-Semite.
Anti-Semite.
I wasn't talking about Jews.
Right.
Muslims, I mean, like, their jihad is not any better, but I mean, like, they're all accused of anti-Semitism because they're like, you shouldn't kill another person in the name of God. How is this anti-Semitism?
Dude, I posted something about like they bombed an apartment building, and I was like, you really shouldn't be bombing apartment buildings. They're like anti-Semite. I'm like, how is it? And all I'm saying is, don't bomb an apartment building. Like, if you want to go over like the Iranian Revolutionary Republican Guards headquarters, okay, fine, fair. It's actually not fair game, to tell you the truth, because the attack on Iran is all nonsensical in the first place. Iran, if anyone ever needed a nuclear weapon, it is Iran, because like that's how you deter a genocidal terrorist state like Israel from doing to your people what they did to Palestine and Gaza.
Iran has the right to defend itself, right?
Right, of course.
Obviously.
How can Israel, who has 40 to 700 that they admit,
wasn't 900
of nuclear weapons? I don't know. I don't know the exact number, but
whatever.
I think
they have many. Yes,
they
could destroy the whole world.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And by the way, we are all in reach. Here in New Hampshire, we are in reach of their whatever the fuck it's called, Jericho nuclear weapons or something like that. So the fact that they're able to have all these nuclear weapons, why the fuck can't the rest of the world have them?
Like the logic is, we gotta blow you up in case you blow us up. Like that's it doesn't make any fucking sense.
But the thing is this, like, do you see what they did to Gaza?
Yeah,
if that's what they would do to Tehran, if they could, and the only reason why they won't is because they're like, well, they might have nukes.
Yeah, but the idea is, so you don't do this to us, we're just gonna completely wipe you out. Like
so that makes what, like 12 of their neighbors. What Middle Eastern countries hasn't Israel attacked?
Saudi Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, because they have what? Military power.
Yeah, they have oil and they're allies of the US, and I mean, like,
and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, what maybe the UAE, because they have some oil money.
They're super small.
They're super small.
Yes. Qatar.
The Kuwaitis just basically just go along to get along after the first Gulf War. They're just like, fine, we're not going to fuck around anymore.
Exactly. Yeah, which was a lie. Yeah.
What a fucking shit mess the Middle East.
It's fucked up.
Have you ever been?
Me? No. Don't want to go there.
Really?
No. There's no need.
I want to go, but like, just for the I think we would be welcomed. Maybe not in Israel. Probably not in Tel Aviv.
You know what I find very concerning is all these. I call them woke right, but
me too.
They call us woke right as well.
Yeah, I know. It's just a derogatory term used for somebody.
So what I find very concerning is that they say that we can't have an opinion, against Israel. They said this is literally woke right. But on the other hand, but on the other hand, what we try to resolve is that no Western person, it's not just the United States. I'm European. Also, Europe is highly or protecting Israel to a very high degree. I don't want any European or American die in another war for Israel, because there are many wars for Israel. Check Syria, for example. I mean, like Assad. They always said like, oh, he's such a brutal dictator. He's an agnostic.
Yeah, I know.
He was like when ISIS, or Israel, I mean, like whatever you want to call it, was invading Syria. The first thing he did was protecting the Christians, right?
Yes.
Because ISIS would slaughter them, and only afterwards he was protecting.
And meanwhile, Israel's bombing churches.
Yeah, exactly. Yet, like in Gaza, you had this oldest church, or the second or third oldest church in Christianity. It was their first target. And the Americans say like these people are our greatest ally. I mean, like
what makes them our greatest ally? Like, I'm not even just
APEC money.
APEC money. So Congress, that's the thing. Congress is bought and sold by APEC.
80%.
Interest groups in general, mainly from three areas: the military-industrial complex, the finance industry, and APEC. And frankly, the financial industry and the military-industrial complex are also bought and sold by the state of Israel and APEC.
Yeah. But what these big right-wing accounts try to tell you is that APEC is a big thing. They're just supporting their candidates.
But
I mean,
like Ted Cruz, he's like, I'm proud to have my APEC money. And Jim Jordan said something like about like APEC and
Jim
like
Jordan.
One of my favorite accounts on X is the APEC tracker. Have you seen this?
Yeah, no.
He
said that?
No, there's an account on Twitter. Have you guys?
I love the APEC tracker, but Jim Jordan said his account.
No. Jim Jordan said something about how great Israel is and our greatest ally. Oh, he goes, I remember it was. He's like, I came to Congress to be a defender of Israel. And everyone's like, wait, you came to Congress for Israel? Like, wait a minute, what? And then somebody posted in the comments like how much he got from APEC, and it was
like 1.2 million or something.
No, it's a lot. It was a shit ton of money, bro. And it's like, no wonder he's here for the state of Israel, not for
Or Randy Fine. Do you know Randy Fine?
Like yeah.
Oh my gosh, you could drop him on Gaza, he would do more damage than a nuclear.
I know.
Nuclear bomb.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, he's actually like a dual citizen, isn't he?
He is.
He's like an Israeli citizen in Congress.
Yes.
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
And he was saying he was like, oh, we've been nuking Japan, we should do the same to Gaza. He said this literally on TV. People posted it, and he was like, I didn't say that. and like, what the fuck?
But like Israel, the amount of the tonnage of ammunition is equal to like hundreds of nuclear bombs that they've already dropped.
Yeah.
So it's like they've already done the nuclear bomb. They've just done it in smaller increments.
Small increments, yes.
I mean, look at Gaza. It's literally just rubble.
It doesn't exist anymore. It's gone. You just need like 3 or 4 bulldozers. You got it all done within a year.
And I'm supposed to feel bad when the IDF headquarters, like the garage, gets like bombed or something. Yeah. I don't care a little bit.
They say it's crimes against humanity.
I think I think that Iran is fighting a war on behalf of mankind, because if Iran can cripple Israel's ability to continue their genocide of children, it's a win for all of humanity.
Yeah,
it really is.
So what I want to say before is like right wing, Laura Loomer, all these Mossad people.
She hates me.
Yeah, I get along with her well, privately.
She's
but
actually a Mossad agent.
I believe so.
She is,
but still, I think she's speaking her mind. This is what I respect a lot, even though she might be biased to a high degree. But she
speaks Netanyahu's mind. She's never disagreed with Benjamin Netanyahu.
No, she wouldn't,
because she works for the Israeli government.
There are many more people. So just take all the accounts that are offline from Friday night to Saturday night, and you can,
Yeah, true. You're right. That's a good point, actually.
Just check it out. Yes. We did, and you can tell many big accounts, 3, 4, 5, 6 million followers, anonymous with very cool names. They're offline from Friday night to Saturday night.
Well, there was like a post circulating of how much you can get paid to post. I think Milo Yiannopoulos posted like how much you can get paid for like pro-Israeli
for the IDF,
posts.
right?
Yeah, and it's like Milo even tweeted out, he's like, this is like the cost of a soul. It's like 5,000 to 6,000 for a post. I'm like, I would rather be homeless in the street than to be out there like, oh yeah, kill a few more babies. Like, no,
you like, I have some following, and we get these offers. I get them. And
I've never had an offer from a politician. I think they know.
No, not from
They know.
politicians.
They're
I get
aware.
them from organizations or from news agencies like Al Jazeera, whatever. You know, there are several more.
Al Jazeera sponsor
like,
us.
Once you
Fuck Israel, bro.
No, once you accept it, it doesn't matter from which side you're sold. You cannot go back.
I would. What's wrong with Al Jazeera? They're one of the, I feel like they're one of the few people actually telling the truth.
Yeah, but I was just making an example. I never got
Okay.
I just didn't want to tell
Fair.
the news agencies that actually contacted
CNN
me.
and Fox.
Yeah, like kind of like this, you know. I was just making something up that didn't contact me, but there are people that contact you, and they offer several thousands per tweet, or retweet even, or quote retweet. That's what they want. But and then I see, you know, I rejected this, and I see these big accounts all doing this, you know. And I'm like, oh, you get that money, so they accept all of it. They accept it. And that's what they're trying to do. They want big accounts silenced indirectly, but just, you know, retweeting their stuff so you can go back.
All right, so Israel is committing a genocide, and we're all debt slaves for Benjamin Netanyahu. What's the solution?
People waking up. I don't want to say
Is it going to happen?
I don't want to say 112. You know,
Oh no,
this would get me in big
no.
trouble. But I think there are definitely people that should prosecute, like Mark Levine, Ben Shapiro. It's just my opinion. I think these are enemies of the state, and they should be treated like the Rosenbergs. You remember the Rosenbergs?
Of course, yeah.
Yeah.
Wouldn't we just have
I
the
don't want to say
anniversary
they
of
should
that?
go in the chair. You know, I don't want to say this, but at least they should look into.
They're traitors, you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
I just want to say they're traitors. I don't want any harm in anyone.
But you know what? That's not gonna. You can string Shapiro up. That ain't gonna really get us anywhere. It's not gonna change. Benjamin Netanyahu is not gonna stop slaughtering children if Ben Shapiro goes away.
If he goes to the front line, no.
Well, I mean, at least Ben should be able to.
He's so small, so difficult to hit him. I mean, like you would be
He'd be a poor target though because he's so short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I don't know what the solution is. I've no clue. I think, you know, people need to understand that if you go to Tehran, I've seen videos from Tehran. So I've seen people interviewing people in Tehran, women with blue hair, like fucking liberals, you know.
In Tehran.
In Tehran. They're without.
I was told that that's not legal in Tehran.
It is now. In the last couple of years, it became legal. So there are all these liberals with colored hair and no
Shit
stops.
libs. We call them shit libs here. The blue-haired shit libs.
What do you call them?
The shit libs.
Shit libs?
Shit libs with the blue-haired shit
liberals.
libs.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
Yeah.
I'll just call them blue-haired liberals, whatever.
Blue hairs, shit
Yeah,
libs,
whatever it
thing.
is. So I've seen this video of a tourist walking in Tehran and talking to people, and it was like 80% of the women didn't wear a scarf. Nothing. And they were like having nose
Getting
rings,
arrested,
blue
though?
hair, and I was like, "Oh, this looks like Boston,
Oh
Massachusetts."
no, Tehran! Don't let that happen.
No. I mean,
Get
like,
rid
anyway,
of the blue hairs. Go back to the
So
mullah.
I think
Like-
after this failed, you know, revolution, I think when was it? 2012? I don't know.
Oh,
like,
the
quite a while ago.
um,
They were like,
Arab Spring or whatever
yeah,
the fuck
Arab
it was.
Spring
Didn't
and,
work.
You know,
Another one of Dick Cheney's brilliant ideas.
Yeah, they were changing the laws in Iran, so everything got westernized, at least in the capital. So when you're a woman in Tehran, you can run around just like woman in New York, I guess. So I mean, like everybody's telling us, at least the influencers on X are telling us, okay, if you know are a woman in Iran, you don't wear a scarf, they're going to behead you, they're going to hang you at a crane. But that's not true. You know, they just try to demonize. They try to make you appear like a demon, like, you know,
Yes.
dehumanization of the people in Iran, because as soon as you dehumanize a person or a people, you know, a group of people, more people are with you and committing a crime against these people. So these influencers are like, oh, these are not people, these are demons, these are monsters.
Well,
we should blow them up. You know?
Right. Well, that's typical war propaganda.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
always like
always.
those guys, and it's always the guys from like the East, right? It's like the Soviet Union, or like, and honestly, this dichotomy is the East versus West dichotomy, where like you have the bad marauders from the steppes versus the civilized democratic Westerners. That dichotomy has been playing out since like fucking Xerxes and the Greeks. You know what I mean?
Yeah. McCarthyism, and
right.
You name it.
The USSR, East Germany, West Germany, China versus the US, the terrorists versus the freedom fighters, and all this bullshit. But it's the same nonsense, same dichotomy played out time and time again for the warmongering.
But do you remember First Gulf War? Do you know what the reason was why they attacked
the
Iraq?
real reason or the fake reason?
The fake reason.
The fake reason was that they invaded Kuwait.
No. Before that,
No, what?
the breeders.
Fill me in.
So they were actually telling that like a Kuwaitian, what do you call this? Like Kuwaiti.
Yeah.
This Kuwaiti daughter of the ambassador was saying that the Iraqis invaded Kuwait and they killed all the babies. In the
Oh
hospital.
yes. I remember that. Yes.
That's how people got. They're like, oh my gosh,
Yes.
they killed babies. Okay, but I mean, like,
In
like,
incubators,
they killed,
in
like, 5,000
incubators.
babies in Gaza.
In I know.
Incubators, yes.
But Benjamin Netanyahu can slaughter 20,000 babies
No
and nobody
problem.
cares.
No problem.
The
20,000
people are
minors,
led
no
like
problem.
sleep to slaughter, my friend. They are. It is sad. You make a very valid
I
point.
call it a breeder, as an incubator. So at least
Yeah, breeder. I thought that was some kind of like weird Pornhub
No,
kind of
but
thing.
really, like they said incubators. And after she was testifying, and we now know that she was the daughter of the ambassador in America, right?
Yes.
So people are like, okay, we want to go to war. You know the second goal for the reason.
What?
Yeah, I mean, you remember
Yeah.
Iraq?
Oh, the WMDs and all that bullshit.
Yeah, and then they were like, also even Saddam did September 11th. I mean, like
Yeah,
if
I
they
know.
told the truth, it would be like
63% of Americans believed that Saddam Hussein had something to do with
was
9/11.
involved in September
Yeah, I
11th.
know.
Like, what the fuck? And like
even then, like 3,000 people versus how many people were killed after 9/11.
they said it was around 3 million, up to 3 million.
So yeah, it's
And
fair.
Why
It's fair.
Why did Larry Silverstein? Why
Right.
didn't he appear at work that very day?
Yeah.
No.
Hmm.
Oh,
Convenient.
Wow. Makes me wonder. Just like
Where was he at the
Lucky
time?
Larry.
So I think the answer to all of this is cryptocurrency. Because think about it. How do they pay for this bullshit? They pay for it by with the money
Texas
printer,
fiat money.
with inflation.
Yeah.
They don't collect enough taxes to pay for an endless war or the welfare state. So what they do is they print money nonstop, and that's what funds all of this bloodshed. You have to divest the state from the ability to print money. And the only way to do that, I can't stop other people from using money, but I can stop contributing to it by using an alternative form of money. I could use gold and silver, but we know that it's confiscable.
What's your favorite form? What's your favorite crypto?
I like Zano,
Okay.
and I like Firo.
I like Monero. It's not on there.
I like Monero.
Yeah.
I like privacy coins. I also like Bitcoin Cash.
You're a Bitcoin Cash person.
I love Bitcoin Cash.
Okay.
Because you know why? Because it works. It's not private, and I wish it was more private, and that's why I'm into Zano and I'm into Firo and Monero, because those transactions are more hidden. And I think originally we all felt that pseudonymity was sufficient, but now that the state has sort of turned up the volume on this war on crypto, and I think that we now see that anonymity is not an option. Fungibility in money, as the Misesians told us, is not optional. We took that lesson for granted, and I think a lot of us learned it the hard way. So,
Yeah, it's actually funny because we had Porcfest, and I was invited as a speaker, right? And I live in Brazil, and in Brazil, because of the socialist government,
he's going back to jail, guys. He goes back
Most
to
likely.
Brazil. Yeah.
Back to jail. If I've been to jail.
Yeah, Lula's getting him.
So I was like, let's get a pizza oven here in the US, because
Oh, God.
in Brazil you can't get pizza ovens. It's like it's not social, it's difficult. So I was like, okay, we got a pizza oven here. We're like, why don't we bake pizza? Just like for fun. So we're making pizza there, many clients, fun. And I was like, before getting here, I'm like, okay, we should offer a way for people to pay in crypto. And the only crypto I ever used in my life is Monero.
Nice.
Big mistake as well, because if I had put my 2016 crypto into Bitcoin, it would be Monero didn't go that way up. But still, for me, it's a means of paying. So if people pay me Monero and I pay, I'm happy. They're happy. Nobody will.
So
ever
what wallet are you using?
Huh?
What wallet do you use?
Cake wallet.
Okay, well, I'm not familiar with Cake, but if you use Edge, boom, check it out.
Edge wallet is on the sponsors place.
Probably.
No, it's not.
It's here.
Yeah, they're on the other tent, I think.
So they actually support like all these privacy coins. So what you could do is you could just like press a button and like it's as simple as
convert it to Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, they have swaps like in app in wallet swaps. But what's cool though is that you can actually just like select a crypto and just press a button and boom, you have a Zano wallet, you have a Firo wallet, a Monero wallet, and it's all encrypted locally on your device with a username and password.
It also has like several options to pull it out.
But it's a soft wallet, isn't it?
Yeah, mobile
Mobile,
wallet. Yeah. So you can take it out in gift cards. If you want to take it out through Venmo, your bank, you can. If that,
Not in
but-
Brazil. It will not. We don't have,
Yeah.
there's no option. But I mean, like, I appreciate Cake Wallet. I'm having it for a couple of years. There's like,
Do they
paying
do they
with
support Firo Cake Wallet?
I know.
So what kind of pizza are you making? Because I'm Italian. I'm from Jersey, so I'll buy all the pizza, bro.
Oh, I'm making.
Are you making the dough?
Yes, I'm making.
No shit.
Yes, I'm making the dough myself. 48
What's-
hours fermentation.
Get the fuck out of here.
The Napoleon
Okay.
pizza. Yeah. So
I appreciate that.
Yes.
As an Italian, I appreciate that.
yeah, I'm not Italian. I'm
You're making a
European,
Polish or
so-
what?
Huh?
You're making a Polish?
I'm making Polish 48 hours.
Fuck
and
yeah,
then
bro.
I'm adding it to the dough.
Fuck yes. Okay.
Yes.
48-hour Polish.
You will come there in 1 or 2 hours and you're gonna have one.
48 hours is a long time for a Polish.
No, it's perfect at 15 degrees. I mean Celsius. I don't do Fahrenheit.
I don't know what
It's funny.
Celsius is.
You know, I'm
I don't know
half
what
German,
Celsius
and
is.
Fahrenheit is German. We use like Celsius. I know where Celsius was coming from. Probably Rome or whatever.
What is it in Kelvin?
15 is 660 Fahrenheit, probably.
Talk to me in Kelvin. I'm just kidding. I don't fucking know. I don't know. No, but I'm a big fan of pizza, so I'll come by and try it. But if you let me pay in Zano or Firo, I don't have Monero. I have Doug doesn't pay. Where's Doug? Doug hasn't given me any Monero.
You just
so.
pay with silver or gold back. Exactly.
Yeah,
Swap
yeah,
it to
right.
Monero on your Edge wallet.
Right,
Here
yeah.
we go. Here we go. Game over.
Yes.
No free pizza for you.
Yes.
I don't have any of this. Can I have a free pizza? No, fuck you.
No free pizza at Site 43 in
You can
Porcfest.
swap it. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we have some people from the Zano team around.
Yeah,
we're
what
gonna-
are they?
we're
Who
gonna.
wants to swap with me?
I think Aaron Day is around here somewhere. He escaped on us, but I want to get him in here to talk about Freedom Dollar and some more
Hey,
about
Someone's gonna get him, so
The
we
war
can,
on crypto.
so we can swap.
whatever. We'll deal with you for now, I guess. We'll have to put up with this guy. We'll have to put up with this guy here, Dr. Simon Godek, the one and only, my man.
Yeah.
I appreciate you coming on today.
Thank
I know
you.
you're in high demand.
I mean, like more or less, right? He had Porcfest.
More or less,
He had
yes.
Porcfest is like.
I
you
might
know,
be somebody, you know.
Oh, you. You're a free speech hero.
No, not me.
You.
This
And,
is,
like people don't know. I thought he was black.
I am. What? I have
I was like,
my hair
it
is
was like
slightly
a thing.
different.
I was like, what? Where's your afro? I'm like, where's your afro?
I shaved. I shaved.
Yeah.
I shaved. My
He really got me. I'm like,
my
what?
hairstyle is slightly different.
Him?
It- so that's my old haircut. That's like that picture is old on Twitter, my profile picture. But let's get my man Aaron Day up here because he's gonna school us on. We're talking solutions to all this bullshit. This is the guy to talk to because he's got all the answers. I appreciate you, bro.
Thanks, man.
Thank you. Yes. My man,
How's it going?
what's up?
Not much.
Thank you for coming on. We were just talking with him about all of the terrible things happening in the world, and I was like, "What's the answer?" And he said, "Well, they have to wake up." And I was like, "I think the answer is cryptocurrency, because I don't think you're going to wake a lot of these people up." What do you think the answer is?
Ditch the dollar.
Boom.
That's it. You're not going to vote your way out. You just stop using fiat currency and it defunds all this. It's actually not that complicated and it doesn't require a lot of participation.
And here's the thing: like, you're not going to stop everybody out there in the world from using USD, but you can only control yourself. And if everybody does that, then we will actually reach a critical mass.
Yeah. And it's not going to start at the mass market. It's going to start like any innovation with early adopters and then move its way up an adoption curve. So you've got to go to where people are already kind of somewhat awake.
Right. But my point is, like, it's sort of, we can't the whole world is not going to become Rothbardians tomorrow. Right. That's not going to happen. I wish it would. It would make our lives a lot better. But what we can do is we can utilize the tools that we have available to us today to enable us to live free. And that, I think, is the most we can ask. Right. As long as, if I don't have to fund the genocide of children, okay, yeah, I'm not happy that it's happening, but at the very minimum, at least I don't have to participate in it. And I think that we all have the option because we have tools like cryptocurrency and privacy coins and stuff like that. We have the ability to not pay for the genocide of children. So if you continue to use US dollars, that is essentially is on you at that point.
That's true, but we are actually fighting technocracy, which is kind of an all or nothing thing. So there is kind of a race against time. So it can't be just a few of us opt out, because at this point, with what's going on with not only digital currency, but AI surveillance, there's a certain point at which, we'll just be taken out. So we actually need to build momentum around people opting out and using alternatives.
I found though that if you have to sort of lead by example. So like if you live off crypto, I know like if you go up to somebody and say, hey, like I'm not I haven't paid the inflation tax. Somebody's complaining about the price of groceries or something. Well, guess what? My money went up in value. My money didn't go down in value. My money went up in value. And here's how I did it. I think that's a much more enticing argument than like sort of lofty philosophical principles. Do you think that like maybe the economic argument would be enough to sway people?
I mean, the economic argument will work if you can demonstrate it, and then if you can actually make the tools easy to use to onboard people. I think this is actually where crypto is breaking down the most at this point, is usability. I mentioned this in my talk today. Bitcoin was in 2012, 2013, better to use. It was easier to use, faster, cheaper. And that's no longer the case. So we need to create alternatives, but those alternatives actually have to be on par with what the authoritarians and technocrats are pushing.
Well, now we have, we have this sort of Model T blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum, which don't scale and don't work. But now we have next gen blockchains. This is what I've been telling you guys about. Zano, Monero, Firo, Zcash. What do you think about some of these new privacy coins that are coming out, and even not the ones that aren't necessarily new, but are just sort of gaining steam now? In fact, that's like sort of another aspect to all of this. Like, what do you think about the sort of recent rise in privacy coins?
Well, I think it makes sense. And actually, I started living on crypto in 2019, but I wrote a book called The Final Countdown that actually teaches people about the threat of CBDCs and explores how you can live on crypto. And I wasn't originally in privacy coins. It's literally only been the last year that I've actually switched entirely to privacy coins.
Okay.
And part of this is motivated by just seeing the amount of tracking and surveillance and what's going on with Chainalysis and private investigators getting into and analyzing people's Bitcoin transactions, where I realized it doesn't matter if you scale this up or not. It's actually, this is surveillance money. Bitcoin is surveillance digital gold at best.
Yeah, at best. You're not kidding.
So if we know that we're fighting technocracy, and we know technocracy is all about tracking and surveillance, then the antidote to that is privacy. So I think that we have to go into privacy. However, the limitations within the privacy space are usability, which is being worked on.
Yes.
It's being worked on. About a year ago, I put out this podcast. I'm like, DEFCON 1, we need easy to use wallets and point of sale systems. And in the absence of those, we're not going to be able to get adoption.
Well, now we have Zano has the native Zano mobile wallet, which is just packed with features like a built-in DEX, the Matrix Messenger service, all sorts of cool features. But it's also has support from Edge, a bunch of other wallets. The same thing goes with Firo. It's supported within Edge, and that's a native Campfire wallet. So what do you, how, I agree usability was always the problem. And that was one of the reasons why it took me a long time to come around to the privacy coin game. And I was, and still do, support Bitcoin Cash, but how far have we come? Do you think we're there? Like we have, again, we have the Zano mobile wallet, we have the Campfire. For how far along are we in that usability struggle? We're
right at the point where we're turning the corner on mass adoption. So in part it's wallets, and so Edge wallet, Cake wallet, Bitcoin.com wallet.
Yeah, these are huge. Yes, Bitcoin.com. That's true.
These are all huge. The missing link in terms of facilitating peer-to-peer commerce is still point of sale systems.
Well, are you familiar with the Zano.cash point of sale solution?
I am, and that's a good start. But what we actually need is essentially a competitor to Square that is as easy to use as Square, but for privacy coins. And the reason that this has been a challenge is there have been effective point of sale solutions. BitPay was a good point of sale solution at some point. Now Payments was a good point of sale
Zeno.cash
solution.
accepts Freedom Dollars, doesn't it?
It does accept Freedom Dollars, but if you're actually talking to a merchant, because I try to onboard merchants when I do my workshops, and I actually talk to a whole bunch of different merchants, and I actually get the same pushback and list of questions. One of the questions is around stability of price. So if you're a merchant and you're taking cryptocurrency, you can't deal with the volatility.
Right.
Which is where FUSD becomes important. But if you want a point of sale system, you want something that does inventory management. You want something that actually, has the ability to create kind of a kiosk interface where you can do something in person. I love Zeno.cash. It's a great starting point. But if you look at what we're actually trying to compete with, how do we create something like Square, where you can have a point of sale system, where you can actually have a terminal, where it's really easy to use, but that also works with privacy coins? That, I think, is an area to be explored. And if we can solve that, then I think we're going to be able to move much more quickly towards mass adoption.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's a great point, because like if you're like a business owner, you do want kind of a point of sale rather than everyone pulling their phone out trying to swap like over an app. Like, so if you had that kind of POS system, it's like that would be helpful as a business owner. It'd make you more inclined to adopt this.
Yeah, this has been an issue. So I've been using crypto since 2012, and in New Hampshire, since we're here at Porcfest, there are a lot of businesses that have been taking crypto and using various point of sale systems. And then you'll see these websites. It's like, here's a map of all of the retailers that take XYZ crypto. But the thing is, what actually happened is somebody went to the business owner and said, hey, would you like to take crypto? And it was probably during a bull run, right? And the owner said, sure, I'll take it. So what happens? The owner installs a wallet on their phone, and then now their PIN is on a map, right? But then subsequent to that, no one is actually going to that business and actually doing a peer-to-peer transaction. So if you actually think about it from the perspective of a merchant, it's not just the business owner. You actually have to be able to train staff. So just having somebody with a wallet that can accept a crypto isn't a solution for an overall retail business. So we need to actually have a solution that's something where you could actually train employees on it, where it's just super simple and easy to use. And by the way, when I say all of this can be done. It just hasn't been done.
Well, we're still kind of early. I mean, Zeno isn't necessarily new, but it's really only picked up steam in the last couple of years.
Oh no, I'm bullish on Zeno. What I'm saying is we're at that cusp of mainstream adoption. I'm saying this is what we need to build out in order for it to go from where it is right now to competing with the threat of stable coins, to competing with the threat of CBDCs. And by the way, this kind of thing is being worked on. I've actually developed a plugin for WordPress. I'm actually working on a point of sale system as well myself. So I think that the potential is there. But in order to get mass adoption, we still need to develop a few more tools. Zeno is well positioned because Zeno, the blockchain is tested, the underlying technology works, the tokenization works, the consensus mechanism works. Now it's about building apps on top of it. And that's been happening at a feverish pace just in the last 90 to 180 days.
So not only are we here at Porcfest streaming live, but we're also, broadcasting to X, and we're broadcasting to MoneroCon. What do you think about other privacy coins like Monero and Zcash and Firo, Pirate Chain? What are your thoughts on the other games in town?
I like the entire space. I think that one of the biggest issues we have is maximalism. And that's one of the things I'm really excited that we're here at Porcfest. So here we're at a tent, and, I'm co-sponsoring it with Doug at Monerotopia, right? So it's Monerotopia. But if you look around, a lot of this is Zeno related. Mr. Quibbs bought a coffee from Doug with Zeno. I mean, that transaction happened here at this tent.
Now there's going to be now everyone's going to be hating on Doug.
Yeah, and everybody's going to hate on Doug.
We've been buying shit with Monero, guys. Relax, I promise.
We have been buying shit with Monero. And across the way, there's another tent. Both of the main sponsors of this entire Porcfest, it turned out to be privacy coin related tents. So you have Edge Wallet over there, and you have Pirate Chain. And I own Pirate Chain, and I know the Pirate Chain guys own Zeno. And we all use Edge Wallet, and we use different wallets. That's the way we have to focus on, the fact that we have a common enemy, and the common enemy is technocracy, and moving towards a complete authoritarian state with a centralized digital currency. And as long as we don't get sucked into maximalism within the privacy space, then we've actually got a chance.
So Adam is pretty new to the whole crypto libertarian world, but I've really thrown him like feet first into the fucking fire. What's your take on wallets and privacy coins? Which ones do you enjoy using and why?
I'm loving Zano. This is probably the first, I mean, up until now, we've been hosting this podcast about a year. Sal has kind of brought me more up to speed. Up until now, which is what I believe is what they try to push you to think, it was just purely about money. I get rich quick, buy Bitcoin, become a millionaire overnight. I bought some shit coins during COVID, before I knew him. But yeah, now I see like it's a tool to being free of this corrupt system. It's a way to, if I want to, it's peer to peer. I don't have to have a third party. In fact, I'm from Ireland, for those of you who don't know me. And when it's law. Yeah, when I moved from Ireland to the US, I was trying to send money between my own accounts, like my Irish and my American account, and I had to pay a crazy amount of fees on top of the currency exchange, and I just found that to be quite ridiculous. Like I had to pay someone to pay myself. I couldn't just give my money. So yeah, like crypto, it makes that much easier. And then especially privacy coins. I mean, pretty much right off the bat, you've taught me about privacy coins, and it's just great. And things like Edge Wallet make it really simple to swap coins. Here, I feel like there's a nice mix of coins here at Porcfest that you're able to use. Like, you can use Zano, you can use Monero, and apps like Edge Wallet just make that really simple. So
I even I bought a chai tea and ginger snap cookies with Firo. That's fucking awesome. I'm like, that's fucking, where else on earth can you, I don't think I've spent more Zano here than I have dollars.
I haven't spent any dollars, but
you don't ever spend dollars though.
But we bought Malaysian food, and then we actually sent out a couple of tweets
Where's
from
the Malaysian food?
From the LPNH. We sent out a couple of tweets for $25 worth of Zano each, and
well, hold on. Y'all got Malaysian food here?
This is great Malaysian food. You got to check this place. What's the place called? Chip Toss or Chapatis? All right, there we go.
Oh, you got to show me.
Yeah. Get some Thai green curry. Get some. Yeah, no, it's great.
Oh,
yeah, it's
Lord.
awesome.
Oh, have you had the chai tea with cannabis? Somebody put me on, and it was fire. It was fire. I was pretty cooked for a little bit there. Yeah, try that out.
Welcome to Porcfest, guys.
Yeah. I remember when I first came to Porcfest, like when I first got here, like in 2014. I'm just like, I've never been to Rogers. I'm just walking down like Agora Valley, and some dude has this like wooden box strapped to him. This is like 11 years ago. I don't know if Porcfest was a different story 11 years ago.
Yep.
And all of a sudden I'm like, what's up, dude? He just opens, like he just presses a button, the whole thing folds open, and it's all like joints and weed and like other things he had available for sale. And I'm like, this is awesome. I'm like, this is where I belong, These are my people. Yeah, and that's how I became an agorist. That's the honest to God truth, because I'm like, I went from like a libertarian party. I went from a warmongering neocon. I'm ashamed to admit it, but I voted once in my whole life. And it still haunts me, but I voted for George Bush. I know. It keeps me awake at night. And then I found Ron Paul, and Ron Paul saved my life. Yeah. And I eventually became more and more radical, and I came here, and I'm like, oh my God, these people are actually living. They're not just talking about it. They're actually, this is a way of life. This isn't just, high and lofty ideas and philosophy. I'm actually paying. I mean, back then we were paying with like silver coins and like Bitcoin. But I remember when there was a vending machine here that only took Bitcoin. This is before, there's any problems with Bitcoin, but like it sold like bullets, birth control, LSD, weed. I'm like silver bars. And I'm like, this is great.
Yep.
I held in my hand the second or third ever 3D printed gun. And I'm like from like New Jersey at this time, and I'm like, we can't have guns and shit. Like, this is fucking cool. I went home, immediately just blew $1,500 in the first 3D printer I could find, started 3D printing things, and started 3D printer Go Burr, which was my first startup, and the rest is history. So Porcfest literally changed my life. It's no understatement to say that.
Yep.
So yeah.
I mean, Porcfest changed a lot of people's lives. I mean, going back to, again, 2012, Roger Ver used to walk around here in 2012 giving people physical Bitcoin. And I actually played a video clip of it. And it's like, well, what's the price? And the price fluctuated between $6 and $11 each. But I mean, he onboarded a whole bunch of people here to Bitcoin. And then there are a lot of merchants. There are people that have made, tens of millions of dollars and are retired from selling things like smoothies and bacon weaves and baklava here at Porcfest. So Agora Alley is like
this is the guy buying all the fucking bacon weaves.
Yeah, the bacon weaves, exactly. So I mean, that's real. And I actually think so. Part of why I wanted to do this event here in this tent with Doug and Monerotopia was to bring back the energy from 2012 and 2013. Because then, I mean, I remember like there was a VIP tent over there right next to the pavilion where we are right now, and it was raining. And Eric Voorhees was in there, and another guy was in there, and I'd never, didn't know who he was at the time. And we're sitting there just having various conversations. And the next year, Vitalik is there before he started Ethereum. I mean, and this is what this is all about. And so people start using these cryptocurrencies, but it got lost over the last few years.
It did, yeah.
People stopped using Bitcoin. Actually, the Free State Project was taking Bitcoin for tickets for Porcfest going all the way back to 2012, but it stopped when the fees became too high. So I think it's only this year that they've actually started taking cryptocurrency again. So I paid in Monero.
Well, one of the major concerns that merchants have is that volatility.
Yep.
And one of I guess the main solution that they usually turn to are stable coins. You have been you've been sounding the alarm bells here regarding stable coins and the threat that they pose regarding CBDCs. So why don't you explain to everybody why you think existing stable coins are a threat and what merchants need some sort of stable coin to accept to avoid that volatility. So what can they use? What's the solution here?
Well, so originally I was a big anti-CBDC guy. So I actually
still are.
I'm still an anti-CBDC guy, and but I dropped everything that I was doing. So I was really involved in political activism and voting and a whole bunch of that shit.
Oh God,
yeah,
here
in New Hampshire, and ran for office. Ended up in a lawsuit for 5.5 years, and so a lot of people thought I left New Hampshire. A lot of people thought I moved to Florida or whatever, and I didn't. I was just
you're welcome.
Involved in.
We'd love to have you.
Yeah. So yeah, exactly, but. When I saw what was happening to Jeremy Kauffman at Library and then Ian, I looked into it and I realized that the federal government is targeting this Venn diagram intersection of people at the intersection of crypto and liberty, specifically to shut down the use of cryptocurrencies as an alternative to central bank currencies. That's why people like Roger were targeted, people like Ian were targeted. It's an executive order that Joe Biden signed. And so I tried to warn everybody about CBDCs. In fact, I was on Free Talk Live with Ian Freeman before his sentencing hearing. I actually ran for president to raise awareness to this issue, and I had a bank run manifesto. No. I was the only presidential candidate that Ian's ever had other than Ron Paul. And he read my bank run manifesto. So my political campaign was don't vote for me. Exit the system, stop using fiat currency, boycott public health, boycott big tech, boycott mainstream media, get your kids out of government schools. You don't have to vote for me. I didn't even vote for myself. So, but at the crux of it was this idea of I had a shirt that had a big heart on it and it said bank run now, stop World War III and the Fed, and halt CBDCs. That was the entirety of the message of what I was doing. So I was trying to warn people about Biden's executive order. And then 6 months after Ian's sentencing hearing, Roger gets arrested. And so it wasn't a surprise to me. Some people thought it was about taxes. It was never about taxes. It was about shutting off the competition, regulating crypto so you could usher in a CBDC, because no one would want a CBDC if you had an alternative. right? They always bring these things in using problem, reaction, solution. And so it's not hard for them to create a problem, like bomb a couple of buildings, do whatever, right? And
there's a pandemic.
always a pandemic, then there's fear. Well, the solution is a CBDC. But if there's a CBDC, but you also have peer-to-peer digital cash that's private or cheap or easier to use, then they have a hard time putting that solution in place. And so I've been focused on that to the point where Vivek Ramaswamy read my book, and I hounded him here in New Hampshire about it. And he actually pushed Trump to come out against CBDCs in New Hampshire the day before the primary, because all of these free staters hate CBDCs and Trump still needed votes. So now people aren't worried about CBDCs. And now we have something worse. They've passed this stablecoin legislation, this Genius Act. And essentially what they're doing is it's
just passed the Senate. Now it's headed to the House.
Now which is going to pass. I'm not going to sit here and tell you, oh, go out and vote and call your congressman. That's not going to work. It's going to pass because they're owned by the bankers. They're
bought and sold. That's
locked in, right? So don't call your congressman. This isn't Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. None of that's real. That's all fake.
Yeah, right.
But the stablecoin thing, I didn't even realize how bad it was in terms of, I mean, it is genius in the sense that if you wanted to backdoor a CBDC, if Harris got elected and rolled out a CBDC, people would resist it, right? They would say, oh, well, we're skeptical about this. But if you take something like stablecoins, which people already use, $27 trillion worth of transactions done in stablecoins last year, and then you hold them captive through Congress, and put them under the same regulations as fiat, know your customer laws, anti-money laundering laws. Existing stablecoins, Tether, USDC, you put it under the control of Congress, regulated by the Federal Reserve, right?
Boom. If you use those coins, you are then being surveilled.
But more importantly, and this is the piece that I didn't realize until relatively recently, is what the motivation for this is. Which is, do you remember, actually, there was a point in time where Trump said he was going to balance the budget. If you go back to his first term, he's going to eliminate
he must have been on campaign for that one.
He said he was going to eliminate the debt. And what he actually meant was he's going to eliminate the debt ceiling.
You got to be so hopped up on fluoride to believe that. I mean, you got to be overdosing on fluoride to believe it.
Well, so he says this. So then he gets elected, and they're still talking about, Doge cuts and everything else. And, we're going to balance the budget and all of this other stuff. That turns out to be all a complete lie. Then we get this big, beautiful bill that, Massey says is going to add $10 trillion to the debt in another just 10 years or whatever it happens to be. Our debt gets downgraded. China starts saying things like we should ditch the dollar. No one wants to buy U.S. treasuries. So they find a solution. There's a lot of hype around stablecoins. So what is in this stablecoin legislation is we're going to take USDC and Tether. We're going to put them under government control, and they now have to be backed 1-to-1 by only treasuries and only dollars. So the Treasury Secretary Bissett came out 3 days ago and said, we will be able to sell at least $2 trillion worth of U.S. treasuries because of this stablecoin legislation. And people are wrapping themselves in the flag and talking about how great this is. So all of the war and rape, because I went after Scott Horton today, and he's talking about all this horrible foreign policy. Well, use USDC, use Tether. If you want to fund genocide, you want to fund murder, you want to fund rape, use a stablecoin under this legislation. It's really that bad.
Okay, but people need to use stablecoins. We were just talking about merchants who want to avoid the volatility. There are people who trade crypto who want an easy way to move in and out. What is the solution if they can't? In other words, if they want to use stablecoins, the only alternative is what you're saying is they have no choice but to be surveilled.
Yep. Well, no, there is a choice now, and it's a very new choice, which is FUSD.
FUSD.
Freedom Dollar or
FUSD. Is that what you're talking about?
FUSD.
USD.
Yes.
Okay.
And FUSD is a private algorithmic stablecoin. So it's built on Zano. So it's a Zano token. So it has all of the privacy of Monero. So it can't be seized, it can't be frozen, it can't be tracked. But it's also not backed by U.S. treasuries, and it's not backed by the U.S. dollar. Instead, it's backed by over-collateralized Zano. So Zano is what backs the peg of FUSD to $1.
When you say over-collateralized, there's more Zano than there are freedom dollars necessary to back it.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So this is an alternative where you can have price stability, you can have privacy, you can have censorship resistance, and not fund war.
All right, I'm a merchant. I want to take freedom dollars. How do I do it?
Well, now we're working on, this is the part that we're working on kind of building these pieces out. I've developed a plugin, for instance, for WooCommerce that works with Zano. I'm going to add FUSD. And there are tools being built. I mean, you could use Zano.cash, as you
Boom.
mentioned earlier.
Zano.cash. You
You
can also
can-
go to
you could use that
freedomdollars.com
right
and you can swap in and out of Zano.
Yep.
1, 2, 3, very easy.
Yep.
Um,
You
there's
can use
also
Zano Bay, which is a peer-to-peer marketplace where you can sell goods and services, and you can accept either Zano or FUSD.
oh, nice.
And it's actually really ramped up. The project's only, I don't know, I actually heard Quentin say it was 8 weeks old. I thought it was 1 month old, but I guess I'm kind of losing track of time at this point. But in any event, it's going to be listed or in the process of being listed on over 20 exchanges. So
Freedom Dollar.
Freedom Dollar. So it's something that's really growing in scale and popularity.
Yeah, I don't know. It's you had said during your talk that's the most exciting aspect of the Zano ecosystem for you. And I think we have Quentin coming on. Let's get him up here. Come on up here. If you want to leave, you can leave. But if you want to stay, hang out. We're not kicking you out.
All right, I'll hang out. I'll hang out for a second.
Just hang out for a little bit. Hang out for a
Yeah.
little bit.
All right.
You'll spice up the conversation. Do we have more beer? Oh, you sick fuck. What are we gonna do? It's only 8:30. Oh, this is gonna be a short show, bro. This is gonna be a real short show. So we've got what 7,600 people. That is not enough, guys. Give me a like and a retweet. Share this episode around. We're streaming live from Porcfest, not only on X, but we're also streaming to MoneroCon and Twitch, I guess. I don't know. We're streaming.
Take it down.
Oh, we're taking off of YouTube. Are the Zano people banned from MoneroCon? This is a rumor that I heard. Have you heard this? Did you hear this? Aaron, did you hear this?
I don't think they're banned from Monero.
No.
That's not
okay.
that's
From what
not-
I heard, the Zano people were banned from MoneroCon in Prague. What did you hear? Introduce yourself. This is your
Good
first time on the
question to
show.
start off with. Eh?
Hold on. We go right for the fucking jugular here.
No, it's not. It's not that Zano was banned. Hello. Yes. It's not that Zano was banned from the event. Actually, they just didn't allow us to sponsor, so we weren't allowed on as a sponsor
At MoneroCon.
Yeah. So,
Guys,
but hey, I mean,
guys.
we don't mind, right? Because actually, MoneroCon. Sorry for everyone in the audience.
We're
here,
live.
but
We're broadcasting
I know,
live
I
to
know, I know.
MoneroCon right now.
We were supposed to be at
watching.
MoneroCon, but because we couldn't go there, we're here now. And actually, I don't regret that at
Oh, so
all.
we were your second choice, is what you're saying. We're your
Yeah.
second choice. Wow. Back to the Netherlands. I'm calling fucking ICE. I'm calling ICE. Where's Border Patrol when you need them? So, introduce yourself to the audience and what do you do for Zano? Why are you here? Who are you?
So my name is Quinten. I'm the head of marketing and growth of the Zano project, and I flew in all the way from the Netherlands. I just heard I have to go back, but I don't want to. So
Yeah, I know. All right, we'll deport you after this appearance.
thank you.
What's up in the Zano world? What do we need to know about? Obviously, we're all huge fans of the Zano project. What's new in the Zano ecosystem?
What's new? Well, I'm personally most excited about confidential layer bridge going live. It's not far out anymore. This is, by the way, this is a third-party project building on top of Zano. So this is not like Zano team developing this, but this allows you to bridge your Bitcoin Cash, Bitcoin, Ethereum, or anything else that you like. Because most people are married to their bags nowadays, right? They just don't want to swap into Zano anymore. So, but then you don't have to anymore because you can just bridge your favorite assets onto the Zano blockchain and upgrade it with the privacy and security of Zano.
Are you going on a beer run? He's sweet. Get a
So-
bunch, bro. Like a shit ton. Get all that they have. Sorry.
So, yeah, no worries. So that's actually what I really look forward to, and the rest is just, I know, continuous upgrades to the like new integrations on infrastructure. We've been recently integrated into Edge Wallet. Shout out to the Edge Wallet guys right there.
They're coming on next, so stick around. Don't go anywhere. This is a marathon fucking stream tonight, guys. Okay, so you got confidential layer coming out when?
You should ask the confidential layer team. It's not up to me.
Oh, that's right. It's not the. It's confidential.
Confidential, right?
This is not the Zano team doing this. Okay.
No, so this is like, Zano just is a blockchain, right? So it just provides, tools to build upon.
Aaron,
And,
you are one of the few people, I think, like, not many people understand, I believe, truly and deeply believe that there's not that many people understand the true potential of tokenization. You're one of the few people who actually understand it. And the way I see it is when we can start tokenizing real world assets on the blockchain and trade them in a permissionless fashion, that is going to be a death knell for the government. Think about what the SEC and what goes on at the SEC with FINRA. Is a subsidiary of the SEC, and they are essentially a cartel of brokers. And if you want to buy a security, you have to go through a FINRA registered broker, and this drives up the costs of securities, and it reduces the amount of access, the amount of people that have access to capital. Right? It takes the amount of capital that companies have and restricts it to people who can only afford the inflated price because of the FINRA cartel. When we have the tokenization of real world assets and stocks and bonds, we'll have people from sub-Saharan Africa who can all of a sudden, invest in Microsoft, invest, a tenth of a token. You know what I mean? Do you foresee a future on Zano where we can tokenize real world assets? Because that is going to be fucking huge.
Well, I see a potential future where we can do this, but we actually have to do this. This is one of the problems with crypto. When you talk to people in crypto about tokenization, all they think about are NFTs and meme coins. What they don't
get there too, though.
What they don't realize, I'm not against those things, but what they don't realize is everything is going to be tokenized, whether you like it or not.
Everything.
BlackRock is working on tokenization. I had a slide up today about Larry Fink at Davos talking about how excited he was for tokenization of stocks and bonds. Well, do you think that the way Larry Fink is going to tokenize stocks and bonds is going to be one where you own your own tokens?
No,
it's not.
So he's going to be the one who owns the fucking tokens.
He's going to own the tokens, and so we're going to end up using technology to tokenize things, but we're going to add more third parties and more surveillance. So the ability to tokenize something privately and retain it in your own self-custody is necessary, in my opinion, to actually preserve free will. That's actually how important this is to me. So not only can you tokenize these things on Zano, if we don't, then this is how you end up owning nothing. This is exactly how it works. And I've actually laid this out. And this isn't a theory or even a conspiracy theory of any type whatsoever. Technocracy is a specific ideological movement that says that elites will pick scientists and engineers to make decisions for us. And the ability to centrally tokenize, program, track, and control and censor things is a critical part to being able to roll out a technocracy. So we have to use something like Zano. This is what attracted me to Zano, is I think it's a free will preservation technology.
I know that you said, the Zano team isn't developing confidential layer, but I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think that we're going to be tokenizing real world assets on the confidential layer anytime soon?
Well, confidential layers, it's multi-chain project, right? So it's from cryptocurrency to cryptocurrency, right? So from transparent blockchains to private blockchains.
But can I tokenize real world assets though?
You could, yeah. I mean, this is actually not what got me. Yeah, it's just not done yet. I mean, it's early, right? Like you just said, like Zano.
I take, for example, 3D printer go burr, and let's just say I thought that the company is worth $250,000, all right, and now I value it at $250,000. I want to make 5 tokens, right, for 50 grand. You guys want to buy one? Now you can represent the ownership share in 3D printer go burr. Is that something that I'll be able to do on the Zano blockchain?
Yes, totally.
That is a fucking game changer, bro. That is the Tocambrian explosion that we've been talking about for years. And not just myself, but a lot of the people in cryptocurrency, the OGs, I think this is what we've been waiting for. And it makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up. I love it.
Yeah, like Aaron is actually the one that kind of educated me on that topic, because I think you once said that 5% of the like all the value in the world is money, and the other 95% is stocks and bonds and stuff like that.
Say that again. 5%. What was it?
5% is money, and the other 95% is stocks and bonds, non-monetary assets. Right. So yeah, that is huge. I mean, I like Aaron talked about it a bit today. I did too on the workshop part, and you actually see that people have a hard time understanding, like being able to grasp this concept.
In fact,
even I do.
Ronnie, you and I were talking today to a dude about tokenization, and like when he actually understood it, he was like, "Wait a minute!" Like you can see like the light bulb moment that he had. And I was like, yo, I had the same exact realization when I finally understood how disruptive tokenization will actually be. I was like, oh my God, wait a minute. Like, it just blew my fucking mind.
This is the hard part about explaining the potential for something like Xano, because you can literally tokenize any asset of any size.
Think about that, guys. Think about that.
And trade it anywhere in the world without any third parties. So it's difficult because our educational system teaches people not to think abstractly. Right. Yeah. This is why the WEF can pitch a 15-minute city, because even though, what do we have to offer? Well, infinite possibility. Whatever 8 billion people can come up with, that's what we have to offer. But you know what? That's abstract. These people come up with a fucking 15-minute city, and it's like, whoa, that's what that looks like. Right. But it is literally, it's that expansive. You could tokenize, I mean, I brought up as an example to be absurd, but you could tokenize funding a lawsuit against Big Pharma. You could tokenize mineral rights on an asteroid. You could tokenize information. Again, it could be anything.
If it can be tokenized, it will be tokenized. And again, I just think that that's going to unleash a wave of capital and liquidity on the market that we've never seen before. And it's going to drive innovation, and it's going to be like taking the handcuffs imposed by the political class and just ripping them off and letting the entrepreneur in the market run free. And it's going to be one of the best things. It's going to be the equivalent of like when we started fencing in cows, or when we discovered fire. Like that is the level of transformation that we're talking about. Like it's that huge, and it's happening on the Xano blockchain. Firo is also around the same time that Confidential Layer should be launching. Firo is launching Spark Assets, which is very similar, and that is also going to be, it's going to run sort of parallel, and it's going to be another game changer. And we'll be covering that more and more here as well.
It's actually also going to be connected with Confidential Layer, Firo. It's not just Xano.
No shit.
So it just starts because Xano already has that technology ready, right? It has it live and working on the mainnet. But actually the idea for later on is to actually have this non-custodial decentralized bridge that allows you to bridge between transparent blockchains and private blockchains. So not just Xano. Nice. At the start, it will be just Xano, but anything that has confidential assets or something similar can be plugged into this, and will be probably plugged into this. So Firo already, for a fact, I can say that they are on board. But there's also others, right? So you have Beam, you have, I believe.
But Firo shouldn't need to bridge to Confidential Layer because it's already private.
Yes, but so is Xano. I'm
confused. Are you saying that Firo is gonna be using Confidential Layer as a bridge?
Yeah, I mean, so
but it's unnecessary.
No, because you need these Spark assets to be able to tokenize something, right? So to create these synthetic versions of existing assets like Bitcoin Cash, you need that tokenization part that Xano already has and Firo will have.
Right. Oh, okay, yeah, but Confidential Layer is not available yet.
No, it's not. So you
can't tokenize on Xano just yet.
Yeah, you can.
You can.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. You can go. Okay, so you can create a token, but you're not using Confidential Layer. Like I can go into my wallet and whitelist an asset. In other words, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, so confidential assets is just the underlying technology that allows you to create assets, to launch your own assets. Saying. So, and Confidential Layer will utilize this technology to release synthetic versions of pre-existing assets like Bitcoin Cash on the Xano blockchain.
Gotcha.
Or Firo, or anything that supports confidential assets or similar technology.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, you mentioned selling, 5 shares, $50,000 each in a 3D printed gun company. You could do that right now.
No,
I know.
Not me.
No. You said that, but you could do that right now in the wallet today. There is no additional technology. That is something. I actually tokenized a gold.
I would never do this.
I know you would never. I tokenized a gold back and sold it online just for the purpose of testing out the potential of the technology. So you can already do that within the mobile wallet today.
I mean, if you're interested, we'll talk later. But yeah. In fact, I've noticed a lot of people here taking gold backs. In fact, the fucking beer guy only takes cash and gold backs. I'm like, dude, what are you doing? This is like, if like, how much money we can get you if you're taking.
I
like,
just have to pay cash for these.
Like
So-
between the two of us, we'll buy
I know.
enough beer using
Yeah.
Zano like to make you rich. I promise.
I actually received my first gold back. Like, when was it? I think yesterday or the day before. I did one of my workshops here, and there was a guy who was so happy with, everything that he got.
I still haven't received one. I don't have one.
It's
I get
super
one?
cool. I mean, who needs Pokemon cards now, right? You just fucking have gold backs.
I know. Okay, but here's the trouble with gold: is it's confiscable, and we know this because it's already been confiscated, right? So this is what FDR did, and that's why. Right. Well, look. Here's the thing: cryptocurrency. It's much harder to confiscate. You can't go ahead and good luck finding my Zano or my Monero or my Firo. You might be able to find my gold if you come and raid my house and turn over my mattress and shit, but you're not getting my privacy coins.
I don't have much for you guys to take anyway, so that's okay.
Yeah, well, he's a gypsy, guys. He's one of these Irish travelers. So, all right. What else is going on in Zano? Anything else we need to know about? Any news that you didn't tell us about yet, or what? We have a new listing on some Mexican exchange. The Mexicans buying Zano.
Really? Are they?
I don't know.
Smart people.
Didn't you tell me this?
I don't know. It's the
I
first time I
thought
heard
you
it.
had texted me that. I thought you said that to me.
Maxi. No,
don't fucking know.
FUSD got listed on Maxi.
Oh,
Which
okay,
is an
okay,
exchange.
okay.
It's not a Mexican exchange.
Okay. It just says.
Although it can probably
it
be
just
used
says-
in Mexico.
You should be using it in Mexico, actually.
Yeah, I mean, but like, yeah, with Zano itself, something that I really look forward to is the consensus upgrade to full proof of stake, and a lot of people here might not like that because they are, pro proof of work, but
Well, let's talk about it a little bit, because I was also very much like, oh, fuck proof of stake.
me too.
But what happens if somebody tries to attack the proof of stake network? If I wanted to launch a 51 attack on Zano, how would that work out for me?
Like right now.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't afford it, but let's say I could.
Okay, so right now we have this hybrid setup, right? So 50% of the blocks are processed via proof of work and the other 50% via proof of stake. So how that is more secure is like when you're talking about consensus, it's all about getting the cost of a double spend attack as costly as possible, as high as possible. So, and people that like proof of work, they use all kinds of arguments like proof of stake is oligarchic, or you need to put in energy to create something that has value, so proof of work is better. But those are all arguments that are not really related to consensus, because it only serves one purpose, which is the cost of an attack. And with proof of work, you just need the majority of the hash rate to do a 51% attack, a double spend attack. You can actually rent this hash rate from websites like NiceHash, or the government can just buy a big ass building and fill it
If
with
they get
CPUs.
mad enough, they can do it themselves.
Yeah. So, and it's not that expensive at all. And with proof of stake, you actually need to, like with our setup, which is hybrid, you need a significant amount of the hash rate, and you need a significant amount of the total staked coins. So we're talking like on Zano, about 10.5 million coins are staked right now. So it's a bit of a balance, right? So if you have more hash rate, you need less total stake coins. If you have more, you need less stake coins. And if you have more of the staked coins, you need less hash rate. But there's always you need at least 20% of either of the two. So if I would have 80% of hash rate, something like that, like 70, 80% of hash rate, I would still need 20% of the proof of stake, of the total proof of stake coins, which is at this moment 2.5 million Zano coins. And the only way to acquire those is by buying them from others, which drives the price up.
Bingo.
And the only reason why people do 51% attacks is for financial benefit. And you just take away that financial benefit if you have proof of stake, because the cost of an attack just becomes so high that there's no reason for you to 51% attack anymore. And of course, governments could, you know, if they kind of have unlimited financial means, right? So they could always do it. But that counts for every coin and also every privacy coin. It's all about making it as expensive as possible. It's never impossible, but making it expensive as possible.
Well, if you attack a proof of stake chain like Xano, you're just gonna, like you said, you're just gonna drive the price up, and you're gonna make everybody else rich.
Yes, although that's not the point of it. But yes, you think dollar signs, don't you, Sal?
No. I'm saying is it's not gonna work because you're gonna make everybody else rich. So it's financially infeasible to 51 attack Xano.
Yes, that's correct.
Would you do me a tremendous favor? I'm going to go take a leak. Would you lead the conversation for like 5 minutes?
Okay.
All right.
I'll give it.
And we come back, we'll bring on Ronnie because I want to talk about NFTs and Obscura because they have some interesting shit they're working on. All right. Be right back.
All right. So where are we going to go from here? Whoa.
Sal's breaking everything here, guys.
Yikes.
We always have technical difficulties on the stream, so this is, you know,
Is
this is normal. That's actually quite subtle, you know.
Is this always the source?
Yeah, it's always the person who left. We won't name him, but
Yeah. So what's the timing on confidential layer? Did you?
I mean, it's not up to us, right? I mean, I just get updates from them, and so I can't really say a precise estimate. But from what I hear, it's going to be there pretty soon. I hope pretty soon. So that's cool. But if we have some, like, you know, we need some time to kill, like, we can talk about Porcfest and my experience here, because it's the first time that I'm at Porcfest and I really like it so far. Especially the Agora Valley, where they're so open-minded, right? So actually, that's what I like most about. I think that's my favorite part about Porcfest so far is the Agora Valley. That they just, when you go there and you want to buy something, you say, "Hey, listen, I would love to buy this from you, but I only have Freedom Dollar or I have Xano. Would you accept that?" They actually, you know, they're open to it. They actually want to listen. They, you know, they ask some valid questions about, okay, why should I take it? And then once you give them valid arguments, they're happy to take it. So actually, I've been buying my dinner and my lunch with Freedom Dollar and with Xano every day here so far, and that's something that I found really cool.
How does it meet your expectations? Like, what did you expect when you came here?
I didn't really have expectations. I mean, I've heard wild stories from Sal, and I heard good stories from you, and you know, I read something about it on the internet and all of that. So, but I just went in with an open mind, and but yeah, it's better than what I had hoped for. I really like it here. I actually quite jealous. We should have something like this in the Netherlands or in Europe at the very least, or maybe something like that already exists and I'm just unaware about it. So if anyone that is listening knows about a similar event, then please let me know, because then I don't have to fly all the way to fucking Boston next time.
Well, when New Hampshire was selected, it was this whole long process. So my guess is that if there was something like that in the Netherlands, we'd know about it.
yeah, maybe it's a little more underground, you know, who knows. Yeah, this is also my first time here. You know, as Sal said, I'm kind of newer to this world, but it's kind of great to see, you know, like, everyone wants this. They're here together. It really makes it feel real, you know, like it's different. You're online, you see the little groups talking about it and stuff, but it's great to come together and like everyone's kind of on the same page. Everyone's accepting crypto. Like it's great. Like it shows you this is real. This is happening. It's what people want. And I think it's a great opportunity, you know, to network and meet other people and, you know, talk about ideas and solutions. And yeah, it's been a great time.
So Sal, how does this compare? Because when you and I talked, I know you haven't been back for a while, but this I know was transformative for you in your life. What do you think about this Porcfest?
It's definitely tamer. I'm gonna keep it real with you. It's tamer than it was in 2014. When I came here, there was a sex tent, and I came here with like.
You sound very sad about that.
I am, yes. I brought like a bunch of my friends here, like my normie friends. And like I remember, like I think I got drunk and like passed out at like 9, and then I woke up and they were gone. And I walked past the sex tent, and, like my buddy was like strapped up to the wall, like some like stripper was like whipping him, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? But that's the vibe at Porcfest. Again, like I held like the second 3D printed gun ever created. Like I held in my hand. So like, but this is fun. You know, I'm having a good time. I'm more of I guess a participant than I was 10 years ago. You know, when I was new. But it's a good time. I always love it here, and I enjoy like paying with crypto and using crypto and stuff like that. So it's always a good time. Tremendous fan of Porcfest and everything that happens here. It's also just beautiful in like the mountains, like in New Hampshire. It's just gorgeous. Like the air just is crisper and
Yeah, we live down in Florida now. We love the beach life, but it is nice to have the scenery in the mountains, a little cooler. You know, we're not sweating constantly. So yeah, it is great here.
cold as balls though.
Yeah,
It is cold as a
that's because you've no
motherfucker.
hair.
That's true.
It's not that
That's
cold.
true.
This is just normal.
Fair.
Yeah.
That's true. We're from Ireland though.
Yeah, this is just standard weather for me. So
We're gonna be there in a few weeks.
yeah, we're actually heading to Ireland for 6 days. I'm taking them to the motherland for a visit.
Fish
and
and
then
chips.
Fish and chips.
Guinness.
Yeah, Guinness.
And
I've
totally.
seen one place here that sells Guinness. I'm going to be swinging by there later. It's actually my birthday today, guys. For those of you who don't know,
40,
so
46.
46. Get out of
years
here.
old. Oh my god.
My back's about 80. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah. So join me for a Guinness and a shot later, guys.
We walk by. We're like walking here, and there's one guy who's like a fucking Guinness sign,
The
and,
sign
of course,
and everything.
Like a
Oh,
moth to
I
the
drooling.
flame. I swear to God, I'm like, bro.
It's the
like,
first place I'm going when this is
like
over.
we have a podcast in like 45 minutes.
That's
Can we
fine.
not? He's like, oh, I can't wait to leave. I'm like, I'm going right there. But all right, let's kick one of these guys off. Aaron's got shit to do. He's like, fuck you guys. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you, man.
Iron Day, everybody.
Yeah. All right, let's get my brother Ronnie up here. He's gonna come and school us on this is I'll let him introduce himself to you guys. We've got guys, give me a like and a retweet. What do I gotta do for a retweet around here? We've got 10,000 people watching on X. We've got, I don't know, 600 watching at we've got 1,000 watching in Prague at Monerotopia. Shout out to our people watching at Monerotopia. We love you guys, and I know you're some of our people were banned, Ronnie.
Yeah, I've heard.
We were unwelcome, but look, we're fans of Monero, and we don't believe in maximalism.
Exactly.
I believe in privacy as a general solution. I don't really, again, what I am is a P2P cache maximalist. So whatever works is exactly. You should use what works. If it's Monero, it's Monero. If it's Zano, if it's Bitcoin Cash, if it's Litecoin.
Pirate Chain, it's Pirate Chain.
Pirate Chain's fire, bro. It's one of the best chains out there. All right, but you're here to talk about NFTs.
Yeah. Yeah, so little
Who are
introduction.
you? Who are you?
Who am I?
Who the fuck is this guy,
Yeah.
Adam? Who you
Good-
letting up here, bro?
Good question.
These weird European people, bro.
So I'm one of the weird Dutch guys walking around here. And yeah, I'm part of the Zeno guys. I flew all the way from Amsterdam to Boston
Oh yeah.
and back here in New Hampshire. And well, I got involved like a couple of years ago. I'm just a really, really big fan of Zeno. And I think around like 2 months ago, the Obscura people actually needed some extra hands. And I'm a really big fan of the private NFT platform.
What is Obscura?
It's actually a privacy-focused NFT platform. So you can mint an NFT there. It's called
Built
Obscura.
on Zeno.
Yeah, it's actually built on the Zeno blockchain. So all the NFTs are private by default. And soon you'll be able to also sell and buy other NFTs there. So that's coming. We just like to build on the get-go, just go on and
So
build new features.
a marketplace for NFTs built on the Zeno blockchain. That's, in other words, what you're.
Yeah, exactly. So for now, you can only just mint your own collections on Obscura. So yeah, it's not really, it doesn't really have a use case at the moment. but the developers are busy trying to get out.
When are we going live?
I hope in a couple weeks. I've actually got an update that will probably be somewhere in July. So hopefully you'll be able to launch your own collection. I've heard.
Can Alex play our little promotional video? Text that motherfucker. See if we can get that going, because you guys will appreciate what we have. Oh, I sent it to you. You've seen
I got
it.
a little sneak peek.
You got a little
yeah.
taste of it. I don't know if most people have seen it though. Have you seen it?
I don't think
He hasn't even seen it.
Wow, you missed out, bro.
First, you got a first glimpse.
Yeah.
If you can play it, Alex, shoot me a text. That would be cool, because we plan on launching a collection on Obscura when it's ready. Just to draw attention to the Zano blockchain, we're going to call it Privacy Pioneers. It's going to be like one NFT for, different figures in the privacy ecosystem. And yeah, I'm pumped. I think it's going to be great. What I think is cool about having NFTs in a private blockchain as a shitlord, is a meme lord. What I think is cool is that, hold on, here's Alex. Give him a few minutes. He's gonna no, we don't have to play anything else, bro. I just want to show them the NFT collection that we're working on, Privacy Pioneers. But what I think is cool is that as like a meme lord, as a shitlord, like I can't be censored now.
Exactly. It's censorship resistant, so
there's a lot of memes I can't show you Europeans. I'll get in trouble.
Yeah,
you guys can't see these things.
You'll get put in jail, actually.
I know. We can't show them half-hour memes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. No, but for real, like, think about a world in which like political art can be tokenized and not censored. That's big. You remember like I don't even know, like years ago, Charlie Hebdo. I don't know if y'all are familiar with Charlie Hebdo.
Yeah.
He knows. They released a cartoon of Muhammad, and like there was like, you can't do this. This is crazy. You can't draw the prophet. So South Park did it. Well, it's like, but they aired it. They aired it. But like, you can do shit like that now on when we have. I know that's not. He's looking at me like this is not how we want to be promoting Obscura. Like you can draw the prophet.
No comment.
No. But like my point is, it's available for politically sensitive art, socially sensitive art.
Yeah, the whole goal was to be able to do free speech, like, and share your artwork and whatever you like, you can put up there. Basically.
Well, so like I'm trying to like promote privacy and whatnot. So I think by like by releasing a Privacy Pioneers collection on the Zano blockchain on Obscura, we can promote privacy, Zano, and Obscura all at the same time.
I actually believe at Monerotopia last year there was this lady, Tatiana. I'm sorry if I'm gonna say her name wrong. Tatiana Moroz, yes. And yeah, singer-songwriter. And she was actually, she came to our booth because she was so interested about like in the confident. That was when Obscura wasn't even around. And she was just asking because she could already, lay the link herself. She said, "Oh, so confidential assets. So can I actually tokenize my music, my artwork?" Which she will soon be able to do. So that's pretty cool, right?
So Tatiana she has been tokenizing shit longer than anyone else I know. I don't know how long y'all been around, but she used to do colored coins.
Really?
With any OGs
oh,
that
is
colored fucking coins on Bitcoin. This is like in 2014, 13. I remember coming here and she had her guitar and there was like a QR code and like you could buy Tatiana coin and you could exchange Tatiana coin on her website for like albums and music and like custom songs and shit like that. Pioneer of the token game. So the fact that she's interested, that's like that you're getting some real OGs involved in the token game there.
Yeah, well, actually, I'm in contact with her, and she's also really interested in launching her own collection on the Obscura platform.
Oh, I gotta beat her, bro. I gotta beat her. You gotta give me inside info.
It's gonna be a race because when the marketplace is gonna go live, it's up to the races. So
oh god,
stay tuned, and hopefully we can get some more artists and meme lords like yourself up there.
I thought we had the inside info here, bro. Tatiana's she's getting the jump on us, bro. Yeah. Where's your Monero hoodie? No.
Yeah, and also to talk a little bit more about Obscura, another interesting feature that is actually coming soon is a new web app where you can actually use your Obscura as an access token to private events or to gated content or whatsoever. So, for example, I think you guys are familiar with the Bored Ape.
Of course.
Well, the Bored Ape holders actually had some events, but in order to get in, you need to have the Bored Ape, right? So there was another web app made that you can actually verify you're the Bored Ape holder to join this Bored Ape Yacht Club meetup. And we're trying to recreate a similar thing on Obscura as well, where if you hold one of the NFTs in your collection, you can actually, I don't know, do like a private,
on like the NFT collection, not on the marketplace.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, it's like if you have a Bored Ape, you can get into what they call like the graffiti board, and you could like, they don't actually do anything on there. They just like scribble. So if you could like buy a Bored Ape for like, $3 million, and you have access to the graffiti board. You can go like scroll your name on like some like digital. It's nothing special, but my point is, it's like it's access is granted vis-a-vis the NFT, not vis-a-vis the NFT marketplace.
What about Porcfest tickets?
Fuck yes. Fuck
I would like that.
Let's go. Let's go.
I would actually pay something extra for that.
Yeah, me too. I know. We're thinking about doing some sort of thing like that with the Privacy Pioneers collection, where it's like you get access to something. I don't know what.
Yeah, but I was talking about like real life access actually. So that, I don't know, like this, like Porcfest, that you can actually launch a Porcfest collection on Obscura and sell it there, and people show it at the drive-through, and they'll get in.
One of the ideas I've been kicking around is like starting like my own little like privacy cypherpunk agorist kind of conference meetup kind of thing. And yeah, that would be great, is to like have an NFT be like the ticket to get in, like rather than a barcode on in your emails, like this is done at most crypto conferences. Like at least at this one, at ETHDAM, it wasn't even like that. It was just like, oh, you're Sal, come on in. It was just like but if we could do that in a way that uses NFTs, I think that's kind of what NFTs are for.
Yeah. And also a little add up to that is, I know the developers are also working to make the NFT actually displayed in the Zeno wallet, so that you will be able to view your NFT also in your Zeno wallet. So not only on the Obscura platform, but also in the Zeno wallet, you will have access to your
I like that
NFT. So like a real image will be
appearing no
there.
shit.
Yeah.
That's fire, bro.
Where did you send me this? You sent me this. Where was this? Just yeah, like, can we show them on this, like in front of the camera?
We don't want to send any nudes, bro. Keep that shit to yourselves. I know what you guys are up to in the Netherlands. I know what y'all do. Oh, I think we have the NFT ad that's ready. Is it ready?
Yeah. Here it is.
Hold on. Wait. What do y'all got for me?
Yeah. So
nude landscape.
Oh God, it's a dick pic, bro. Come on, bro.
I've seen big.
Wait, what am I looking at? Is this like an NFT or?
Yeah, so like
This is how it will look like in the Zano mobile wallet. So when it auto detects that it's an NFT instead of just like a normal confidential asset, so it will automatically display the image.
So I don't want to go to your balance, but if I go to the home screen, is it visible?
This is just a screenshot.
Yeah,
This
this
is
is
a
just a
screenshot.
screenshot I actually received. So it's not live yet. It's the developers are actually working on it, but this is just a screenshot I got from my sources.
Right. So in other words, right now, an NFT on Zeno is it's like creating a Zeno token, but just with a quantity of one.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly.
So you're just throwing in metadata there, but once we have the Obscura marketplace,
Yeah.
In other words, Obscura is going to function kind of like OpenSea does
Exactly.
on Solana, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
So we're aiming to get like all the features OpenSea has, but with the privacy.
I used to
of Zeno.
teach classes about minting tokens on Solana using OpenSea, and it was the easiest fucking thing. It was like 5 buttons, and you could have your own like NFT on Solana. I mean, it was like stupid simple. You know what I mean? Hopefully, Obscura takes the same route.
Yeah, I hope so. I know the developers are working day and night to make it work, and also to make it as easy as possible to work. Because, well, I gotta admit, in the beginning, it was quite like hard to understand how it actually worked. You need to be a little bit technical, but I know there's gonna be some UI UX upgrades.
It's very
coming
easy
soon.
to make an NFT on in your Zeno mobile wallet app right now.
Yeah, but like in the beginning when I was testing it out, it was still a little bit like hard to understand what everything meant and how to actually.
Who are the developers here? Who are you working with?
Well,
Andre?
they're anonymous.
Andre.
I don't know.
Fucking, I'm texting Andre. I want to know. I want to know when. Andre Sabelnikov. Tell me right now. All right.
One last interesting thing, because Quinton was just talking about the confidential layer thing. That also has to do something with the Obscura, because soon you will be also able to make your Bored Ape or your CryptoPunk or any other NFT that's on a public blockchain to get it to the Zeno blockchain and make it actually private. So you can actually trade your public NFT privately on Zeno.
So I can send a Bored Ape.
Yeah, via
privately.
the confidential layer bridge. And you'll be able to play around with it on Obscura. That's something on the roadmap, I've heard. So for people out there that find it interesting, stay tuned. Yeah, and also another thing. Well, I just keep scrolling on my Twitter, and I see just all these wrench attacks, like especially in France. I don't know France, but
all these what attacks?
Wrench attacks. Like
the fuck
people.
Is that?
Well, like people get like traced down because of it's like on a public blockchain. You can actually, they'll cut your fingers because they'll find out that you hold like a Bored Ape or like a CryptoPunk. Actually, I think on OpenSea you could even see like which celebrity had this Bored Ape before you. You had like Justin Bieber, Snoop Dogg had all these Bored Apes. You could see it, but that actually gives you a target right on your forehead. So with Obscura, this is not going to be possible because it's on the Zeno blockchain.
Boom! Power of privacy.
So that's.
So you can actually trade. You can actually wrap a Bored Ape up on Zeno and trade it privately on the Zeno blockchain.
There you go. So
wow.
We're waiting for that. So with confidential layer, it's going to be possible. So we're also really excited about confidential layer going live soon, so we can get that start rolling.
All right, let's see if Alex can play this. I want you to see this little video we have for the Privacy Pioneers NFT collection. Alex, if you're ready, fire at will whenever you're ready here. Have you not seen this? Oh, you've seen it, right? Have you seen this?
I did see it. Yeah.
Are we back? We're back. Check this shit out. Look, there's Ross.
Yeah, I did see it.
That's going to be Satoshi. I don't know why we said July 4th. You know why we said July 4th? Because we were hoping that Obscura was going to launch by July 4th, but I don't think it's going to. And I told him, I was like, don't write July 4th because I don't think it's going to be ready.
Yeah, just keep an eye on the socials. If you guys want to, for the people watching, if you want to learn more about Obscura, you can go to obscura_.art or underscore NFT, excuse me. And the website is actually obscura.art. So
Obscura.art is the website.
Yeah, and the Twitter handle is obscura_NFT.
Yeah, but the real meat and potatoes is on Telegram.
True. Yeah, you're right.
Where do we get at you on Telegram?
Yeah, that's where the nitty gritty is shared. And also, if you guys are like looking for certain features, there's actually like a separate group within the Telegram where you can actually like send your new feature you would like to see on Obscura. so people can actually give feedback, and we can.
Now I will be
Work
able
on it.
to use metadata.
Yeah, you will.
Okay.
That's coming as well.
Okay. Very cool. All right. All right. Cool, guys. I appreciate you guys. You're dismissed. I got to get the next round of yeah. Get the fuck out of here. Thanks, bro. Appreciate you, bro. All right. We have shots later. We have Crypto Royalty just walked in the house. Mr. Mark DeMazel, my man. How are you, sir? Oh, look at this shirt.
Thank you for the honors.
The Prince of Cryptocurrency.
Wow. I wish.
So,
Guys, very important.
oh, he loves his beer. You know, he had me in the Netherlands drinking, what was it called, Quentin? What were we taking shots of? Naver.
Yeah, it's
You
good.
neighbor.
Strong alcohol and sweet.
It tasted like
20%.
Dude, it tasted like fucking rubbing alcohol. I thought I was gonna die.
But you actually have lots of different kinds of Genevers, but a lot of sweet ones, but a lot of sour, or how do you say? It's just strong ones too, yeah.
Well, whatever ones he was giving me tasted like I was drinking like the rubbing alcohol out of my grandma's medicine cabinet. But it worked. Oh God. Slop Moochoo. That's what they say about me every night. Sloppy, slop Moochoo. Yeah. So Mr. DeMazel, you've been around quite a while in the cryptocurrency ecosystem. What do you got your eyes on? I mean, obviously I can see from your shirt.
Yeah, so I'm promoting my latest bag, Zano,
But it's your bag for a reason.
every couple of years I pick one, and only the first one was the right pick. All the other ones were not. So I hope this one was a good one. I bet big on several projects since I entered crypto in 2012. Bitcoin was the first one. That was a good bet. But then after that, I did NXT quite quickly because the first altcoins were in already in 2012, 2013, the bubble of 2013. You had the first altcoins also, Litecoin, Peercoin at the time.
That's how old school this guy is that Litecoin is an altcoin to this dude. That's how old school he goes.
Yeah, it's still around.
Oh yeah.
But people don't talk about it anymore.
But nobody talks about that as like an altcoin. The only people who talk about Litecoin as an altcoin are like the OGs in crypto, like the real OGs. You know what I mean?
So what do other people say about Litecoin?
Well, most people think like it's one of the main chains. It's like Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin.
Yeah, I mean, I do a little online gambling, and Litecoin seems to be at the center of like the crypto choice on gambling websites.
Serious?
Yeah. So that's my knowledge of Litecoin. Yeah.
And when he says he does a little gambling, you know what I tell you? I'm like, what are you doing? It's Sunday morning. He's like, oh, I'm lying. I'm up $400. I'm like, what do you mean? Yeah. So what made you look at Zano in the first place?
It was really Roger Ver who started talking about it to me, and I was like, yeah, that's interesting because I've been looking for a privacy coin, but I could not take the step to invest in Monero or only a little bit, but not go big in it. But it's really something that I knew was important, and I knew Monero was the only one really succeeding in peer-to-peer cash online. It had conquered the dark market. So I thought that Monero, just were too many things that put me off to really invest in it. And so when Roger came with Zano, I looked into privacy coins, but the other projects also looked so small and not much. It's just thousands of coins are on the market, and then the privacy coin you have 10, 20 coins, but like it's so unlikely that these coins will succeed, because you need a lot more than just like a project with some good tech. you need real marketing behind the project, or that can be commercial marketing, or it can be evangelism, but the word needs to get out. And yeah, I have just invested in many failures also. So like, yeah.
But Monero and Zeno have done well. Monero is killing it. Zeno was one of the top 10 performing coins last year. So, you know, I think we've done, relatively speaking, fairly well. I mean, Zeno outperformed BTC last year on a percentage basis.
Yeah, but that's not really for me a sales point, because that means it went up, and well, you might be too late now, huh? It's true, it performed strong, but that's not something attractive to me price wise.
But you're like you know, an investor type. Like I see you posting charts and stuff like that. So you know, you're clued into the Bollinger Bands and all those, you know, tools and whatnot that I'm not. So I mean, you know, Monero's done well. A lot of these privacy coins have. My point is, the privacy coins have sort of outcompeted, you know, BTC and ETH and even Bitcoin Cash, which we'll get to in a moment.
Yeah, well, Zano did well, but I think that's mainly because Roger last year, because Roger Ver and myself and some others have started buying into that, and that of course lifts the price because the market cap was very low. What was it, 50 million maybe, and now it's 150 million. It's still very low, huh? But yeah, if you start at 30 million and go to up to 130 million, that's tremendous growth in market cap. But yeah, you're still very low, so that's why I still promote it, because I think it's still a great investment, because the market cap is still very low, huh? But yeah, as an investor, your approach is much different. Many people, when you tell them, hey, it did well price wise, they're like, okay, then maybe I should look into it. But with me, it's the other way around.
Agree with you, yeah.
With me,
I'm
it's
the
like,
same way.
then I am certainly not gonna look into it. But if you tell me like it really went through the floor and everybody's negative about it, then I'll look into it.
Yeah, I know. That's because you're a good investor.
Yeah, that's because, yes.
Yeah, when everybody wants to sell is when you should be buying. When everyone wants to buy is when you should be selling.
Indeed. And that's what I liked about Monero, and why I also took the step to invest in it again, is that sentiment was really bad, actually. Just a year ago, 2 years ago. Yeah, it held, the price went not down as much during the bear market, but it also didn't go up at all during the bull market the past 2 years. It was one of the last ones to go up. It remained around $150 for very long, while other projects start to pump.
I'm talking about Monero.
Monero, yeah.
But now it's what, $200-300?
So now it doubled to $300. But price wise, it's not performing that strong in this bull market yet. Huh? But it also like held a floor quite high at $150. Huh? So it continuously slowly is actually gaining market ranking in the crypto hierarchy of coins, Monero. But no, there's certainly no bubble going on. Like it's getting kicked off exchanges, and that has a negative effect on the price. Less and less people are into it just to invest in it to make money off of the price speculation. But that's very, very bullish, because that means that the price is really supported by actual real usage.
Exactly.
That's from a value, as a value investor, that's the best you can have.
This is why he's a good investor and I'm not, because he's able to spot this kind of shit.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's talk a little bit about Bitcoin Cash. You and I are I don't know, I'll let you decide, promoters of Bitcoin Cash. And I recently got back from the Bitcoin Cash conference in Slovenia, the Bitcoin Cash Blitz conference. And the message that I tried to promote there was the need for privacy on the Bitcoin Cash blockchain. I think that Bitcoin Cash works so well as peer-to-peer cash. I don't want to see us lose ground as the privacy coins take off. Are you still promoting Bitcoin Cash? What are your feelings about Bitcoin Cash today? Talk to me.
Yeah, so I went really big in Bitcoin Cash. Exchanged all my Bitcoin BTC for Bitcoin Cash. Before it was even launched in 2017, there was a futures market. So I went hard on that, and then it was around $200-300 when it launched in 2017. It pumped strong in the beginning to actually 20% market share, total dominance of the market cap. Like it was really in the beginning pumping hard, but since then it's actually been losing market share, and the price is still today. Well, it's $500 now, but that's pretty much the same. It's even less inflation adjusted than it was in 2017 at $300. So the price has done very poorly. It has been extremely volatile, extremely weak during bear markets, and actually weaker and weaker during bull markets. When you look at the price performance, when you look at adoption, I'm not really convinced. Like, okay, the amount of transactions goes up over time, but they are extremely cheap. It's very easy to fake those stats. With Monero, you also see a rising trend in amount of transactions, but they are expensive transactions that you can't fake so easily. The same is true for BTC and Ethereum. But most coins have extremely cheap transactions, and then it's hard to judge whether increasing utility is true or is faked. So, but my impression is also like Bitcoin Cash.
But it works. It works. It works, right?
Yes.
And you were just saying how you are, you look for fundamentals more than price action. The fundamentals are there, though, aren't they? Or are they not?
Well, but it's true. It works well, but that's not enough. Like you really need a lot more to make a project a success. And yeah, I lost my faith in Bitcoin Cash the past 2 years or so. Basically, during the bull market of 2022, I was so disappointed how much it crashed that I could tell, like, yeah, there are whales selling their positions here, and actually it's for good reason. Like peer-to-peer merchant adoption is not the right approach. Like you're not gonna win. I don't see that going viral. Bitcoin Cash has focused on this a lot, and I don't see that as a successful approach. Because it just, you don't see an amount of users in a certain region increase, or the amount of merchants, you don't see that increase over time.
What if Bitcoin Cash was able to have base layer privacy? Would you be more bullish on the case for Bitcoin Cash if there was base layer privacy?
Yeah, that's the kind of thing. I think it's necessary to save the project. But most people do not agree with that within Bitcoin Cash. They believe there's too many disadvantages having a base layer privacy technology, because it does hinders a lot of other technology to be built on top of the chain if you don't have a transparent blockchain. So I don't know if but I think it's necessary. Yes, from just my perspective, I think it's necessary because it's a bit like it's a pity that we lost the Bitcoin brand name as Bitcoin Cash. That's really a big loss, and that really has been the downfall of Bitcoin Cash, I believe, because people just don't understand the idea that a brand can split in two. People don't get that. That doesn't exist in the stock market world. Right. If Tesla breaks into two companies, one will change name. It has to be. And so people don't buy Bitcoin Cash. I've long pushed for that's the real Bitcoin, and that's true. But people don't buy into that. But it's a bit the same. Like in Africa, they missed the internet and the computer desk revolution. But wow, they just jumped that technology to smartphones, and now they use smartphones more for payments than we do in Europe. So it's a bit the same with cryptocurrencies. Yeah, okay, you missed the train of a certain trend. You're gonna have to level up, build better technology, and then maybe the next big innovation you can catch. And I believe that's basically cryptocurrencies, transparent blockchains. That's not what people want. They don't want this kind of transparency when they use cryptocurrencies. And I believe, like you, that over time people will realize that this transparent blockchain causes way too much problems for themselves. Taxation risks, one of the biggest ones. and so over time, people will realize like I should really use a private cryptocurrency such as Monero and others. And that's where I think Zano, but also Bitcoin Cash, if they're willing to take that leap, can catch that market.
All right. Before I let you go,
Mhm.
do you have any tips for us?
As investors,
Yes.
well, yeah, it
Where
starts.
should my money be, bro?
Well, it starts with saving. Many people don't. That's the first step. You need to save money. It doesn't matter how much you make. You need to keep a percentage of that on the side, unless you inherit, like me. That's of course easy. If you inherit some
parents were
money at young
poor.
age, you don't have to save. What? Well,
What's outperforming is the question.
that's well. The thing is, you're gonna miss many trains, and I missed many trains also. But you cannot really catch a train once it's outperforming, because that's not a good approach to best invest something based on that it already went up in the past. Yes, so the way to do it is like you need to look at the fundamentals. You need to invest from first principles. The best entrepreneurs like Elon Musk also builds ideas based on first principles, and that's not like what's already successful. No, what's needed. That's how he comes up with the ideas. Like, and that's sometimes it looks completely crazy. When he came up with the idea, like actually we need electrical cars, and I'm gonna basically invest big in a car company, a new car company. That was crazy. Like not a single car company had succeeded, but he
was able to pull it off.
believes, yeah, because he knows, or he could see like that's really like electrical vehicles are superior in many ways, and it is inevitable that they will take over the petroleum cars. So that's why he dared to invest big in that, because he invests from first principles. Same with even more so with his other big success, SpaceX. So as an investor, it's the same. You need to, or Bezos also with Amazon. He knew like retail will be big on the internet, and so it's the same as an investor. Like you need to look at like, and how I invested in Bitcoin also initially was like, okay, this is indeed could totally fail, this technology. That's really a long shot that they claim that no more coins can be created and it's just based on code. But yeah, the amount of transactions are going up. Clearly, usage is going up, and even if it fails, it's a very good idea, and the technology will be improved. And so, yeah, I think if you look at from first principles, crypto is succeeding here and there, but failing on many other ways too. And so, what's really needed? And I think, yeah, that's what I do. I believe when I think of first principles, but sometimes you're really wrong with that. Actually, I also thought I invested in NXT in 2013 because I believed like, okay, assets. We have digital currency, we have cryptocurrencies. We will also have crypto assets. So I invested in NXT, but that failed. But Ethereum actually took that market.
But just because you were early doesn't mean you were wrong.
Yes, that's true.
Well,
That's
I
true.
mean, I guess if you're early enough, and there's no difference between being super early and being wrong, I guess, from a financial perspective.
Yeah, actually, like when you're early, you lose money also, and so you really need to have your timing right also. But what I learned, and I can give to other people also, is like I invested way too much on one project. Like I invested in NXT, and I said, no, I'm not going to do Ethereum. I don't believe in it. And I was totally wrong. And it makes such a big difference in your finances. It's crazy. And actually, at the same with Bitcoin versus Bitcoin Cash. Like I sold all my Bitcoin for Bitcoin Cash, and that made a lot of sense. But it didn't pan out for reasons that I couldn't foresee. And maybe in the future it will. But I won't. I still have a big position Bitcoin Cash. But okay, it's a lot smaller than it used to be. And so now with this privacy team, like I will try to invest in multiple projects, not just Zano, also Monero, which is the market leader. So if you don't invest in that, like you're playing it very risky. But also a bunch of smaller projects who actually could steal the show.
Firo.
Yeah.
Look into Firo. Firo. It's sort of the same thing as Zano. Instead of Zano aliases, we have Spark names. Instead of confidential layer, confidential assets, we have Spark assets. It's all developed on a privacy protocol that was developed in-house called Atlantis. You would like it. But I love the idea that I have sort of the same philosophy, like try to get free and the money will follow after. I haven't been as successful as you have investing, but I do like the fact that we have the same philosophy and led us to the same place, which is Zano. So
Yes, I agree with you there. Like the way you said it in the other show was that yeah, if you follow freedom and you invest in the tools and the project that give you freedom, the money will follow.
yeah, exactly.
It's a little bit the same with investing. Like if you just in it to make money and to become rich, you're probably also gonna fail. And the same with entrepreneurship. You need to build something of value for the people as an entrepreneur, and then the money will follow if you do a lot of things right. It's the same as an investor. You need to invest in projects that create or valuable for people, or at
No
least
doubt.
entrepreneurs that build real value for the people. And if you do that, then some projects will succeed, other fails, but on average, you'll make money.
Adam, this is obviously is my co-host Adam. He's extremely new to the cryptocurrency world. I have brought to you one of the most OG Bitcoiners on earth. Is there anything you want to pick his brain on?
No, but just from what I've learned about you this weekend, you seem to know your stuff. I want to personally thank you for coming up here and being on the show. We've around 12,000 across a few platforms, people watching us right now. So yeah, give us a share, guys. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a pleasure meeting you.
Thank you so much, Adam. Yes, and to the people, please follow me on my X at Mark the Mezel, and I also have a YouTube channel, also Mark the Mezel, for more.
Now I don't know if you don't have to tell us publicly, but we're going to be in Amsterdam on what? 16th? We're putting together a dinner with the Zano team. If you're in the area, I want you to be there.
It would be my pleasure.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, Sal. And I also love your X. It's really cool. Very impressed how many followers you have there, but also your the way you bring controversial things in a funny way.
Yes.
I really like that. And it's been wonderful to see you in person, to see a face behind such a cool channel.
yes.
I really like the way you talk and think about things also.
Man, coming from the Bitcoin OG himself, that means like a lot. I appreciate that. All right.
Cool. Thanks,
Get
guys.
off our stage, bro. I love you, bro. All right, let's get we have some special guests from our favorite wallet right now.
Edge Wallet.
#1 multi-chain privacy focused wallet in the ecosystem.
Even someone as stupid as me can use it.
Satoshi Nakamoto's daughter, Elizabeth Nakamoto, is here. Come on up here, guys.
Come on up, guys.
That is your last name, right? Elizabeth Nakamoto?
It's Shimamoto, but I thought it was a fun play.
Same shit. You don't look Japanese.
Thank you. I'm half.
What do you mean, thank you? Is it
I don't know.
Like, your poor mom. I hope your mom's watching this.
I don't know. I maybe had a little bit too much tequila earlier. I don't know.
Hey. All right.
Yeah. Also, happy birthday, Adam. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
53 years old.
Wow. You look great.
50 fucking 3, guys. Celebrating with you in MoneroCon and on X around the world and here in New Hampshire.
Yeah. We'll celebrate. Yeah.
So,
it's private.
by the way, does anybody have he has what I'm looking for. Do you have any weed, bro? I know you do. So I left my vape.
I know.
The fucking pirate chain guy has always got me.
He's on
bro.
it.
I'm like, yo, I need a lighter for this drink. He's like, I got you. I'm like, yo, I need a drink. He's like, I got you. This is why I love Pirate Chain. We're gonna have them on in a moment too. You know,
Pirate Chain, they're the homies.
one of the things I love about Edge Wallet is that you guys support all of these fucking amazing coins. It's rare to find a wallet that actually has support for Zano, Monero, Zcash, R, Firo, Pivex. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. I mean, and these are based privacy coins. First of all, how do you get away with it? Number one,
a lot of dev time.
yeah.
Privacy chains are not easy.
No, they're not.
No, it's worth it though. That's our whole focus has been a huge privacy push because it's essential. It seems to be of the moment. You know, without privacy in crypto, it's almost unusable. It's kind of where it seems the narrative is shaping.
Well, it's paid off because honestly, you know, I'm not someone from this world. I've not had that much experience with crypto and wallets, and it is super simple to use. It's fantastic. I absolutely love it.
Thanks.
Actually, no, Adam is actually obsessed with Edge Wallet. He's actually obsessed.
First thing you do when you wake up in the morning.
He's like, bro, I can come out and like gift cards, and I got like, there's no KYC, and I can swap from this to that, and I'm like, I told you, bro.
It's a nice product. Yeah, cool. Thanks.
I told you. So the CEO of Edge, Paul, who's a friend of mine, and he's truly like an OG cypherpunk. And I knew like I enjoy finding projects where the founder or the CEO is like a fellow traveler, and they're also like a freedom lover kind of person, like another cypherpunk. So me and Paul were hanging out in Amsterdam, and I drank way too much, and God bless him for still hanging out with me. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Well, I know. And I was 3 sheets to the wind, and God bless him. He like stayed with us until like 2 a.m. And yeah, he is a trooper. He is a trooper. Oh no, I know. We had him out. And the more I learned about Edge, I'm like, wait a minute, there's no KYC, and I can swap. I'm like, wait a minute, for over 130 assets. I'm like, wait, and you have all these privacy coins in support. And then I learned about fucking duress mode. And meanwhile, this is when there's crypto kidnappings. There was just a case where like 2 NYPD officers. Did you guys see this? No, there's like literally like NYPD cops kidnap. I'm from New York, so I'm not surprised to hear any of this. NYPD is the world's second largest terrorist organization behind the United States military. Terrible fucking criminals. That's another story. We can do another like marathon stream just on the NYPD's abuses against me. That's another story. But yeah, I lost my train of thought.
Duress mode.
The NYPD kidnapped somebody, and they like, I'm not even, look it up if you don't believe me. Like, this guy's looking at me like I'm crazy. I swear to God, bro. Look it up. They actually like they didn't do this as part of their job. They actually kidnapped 2 people and like held them for their crypto.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I didn't hear this. That's crazy.
Oh, I know.
Wow.
I was talking to Paul about this.
When did this happen?
Like 3 weeks ago. We talked on the show.
Wow, I just missed that. That's crazy.
But duress mode solves this.
Yeah.
Tell me about duress mode.
Yeah, so duress mode's our newest security feature. And basically so in Edge, you have a username and a password to get into your account. And then you also have a PIN. And so with duress mode, you can put in a separate PIN that's dedicated to your duress account. And when you put that in, it launches a decoy wallet. And so with that, the decoy wallet, it is real funds, but you're able to launch that decoy wallet, and you can be like, say I got kidnapped, and I was like, oh, take my crypto. Take my crypto, okay. And I put in my duress PIN, and this is all I have. Okay, give it to me. And then I at least just lose a little bit, but it's not, all my other stuff is safe. So
what's big about this, and I think this is like the point that Paul made, and this is what was so fucking impressive to me, is that we need, and you heard Aaron Day talk about it, we need crypto to be used, not like it doesn't go underneath your bed, it has to be used as means of exchange. And if people are afraid, if we go to these crypto conferences or in ETHDAM and we get some dirtbag sits outside and they see me and Quentin leave and they think that we're bag holders, even though we're just a couple poor kids, and we walk out and somebody thinks that we're rich, and they stick us up, now all of a sudden people are afraid they're afraid to actually use crypto. But with duress mode, we actually have the ability now to go out in public
Yes.
with the crypto on our mobile wallet because we're going to use it, and we don't have to fear being jacked up or having a target on our back because we're at a crypto conference, because people see that these crypto and they think that you have money.
Yeah. And that's the cool thing, is that actually when people travel, they can have their duress mode account active the whole time. So then no matter what, if somebody's seeing your wallet, then they don't have access to those funds. So the rest of your funds are safe. And so it's really big for traveling. And then also we actually had a user requested that has been in crypto for a long time. It's a big Bitcoiner.
Duress mode?
Yes, duress mode. And so it was a feature that was requested. And so we wanted to help secure those funds. That's what we're about, is privacy, security, and usability. So we wanted to be able to give that to our users. So we're really excited about it.
This is how base Paul was. I was like, yo, he's like, you should license this out to like banks and like the ATMs. he's like, no, I don't believe in IP. I was like, oh man, it's from my heart. I was like,
Open source.
Anarchist, man. I was like, fuck yeah, somebody write a Kinsella against IP. Stefan Kinsella is a lunatic Bitcoin maximalist, and his opinions on crypto are trash. And I've told him this to his face, but he's great on IP. So he's got a great book called Against IP. You can get it at freemises.org. Check it out. Okay, back to Edge. All right, we've talked a little bit about like how y'all have support for all the sickest privacy coins and duress mode. What's in the pipeline? What can we look forward to?
All right, just a few.
Give me the
little,
fucking
just
lowdown,
a few,
bro.
Just a
Nobody's.
little
Look, they're not going to tell anybody.
All
They're with us.
All right. Okay, these are just your guys.
Yeah,
no
it's
big
like-
deal.
I guess a sneak peek for,
Yeah, like, yeah.
All right, I can say
Guys,
one.
don't
thing.
say anything.
All right.
Don't
tell
anyone. I've got some features we have to talk about too that I want to request. We've already spoken a little bit about it.
Yes, and it's in the works. Yeah, yes. Oh, right. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So, all right. My name is Daniel Millar, and I work at the Edge support office. So, when anybody's having any crypto troubles or even just has basic questions, it's a simple tap help in the top left corner, call for assistance. You can text or email us too. But the fact that you have a support team of 4 or 5 different people able to respond within 24 or 48 hours to any crypto questions you have or concerns, you don't find that very often. Coinbase, good luck trying to talk to them, et cetera and so forth. Crypto support is hard to come by, and I have a lot of respect for my boss for putting our department into motion. What's coming in the pipelines, it's exciting. We've been talking a lot about the NIM network and Tor, essentially using different decentralized VPN protocols to obfuscate our IP address. It's a huge privacy concern. Whether you're using privacy coins or public coins, when you're broadcasting NIM,
I've heard Paul mention it. What is it though? I don't know.
In a nutshell, you can think of it as a decentralized VPN service.
Ooh,
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, we're still figuring out how exactly that implementation is going to work. It's not live yet. The developers are working on it. But the idea is that, we're broadcasting crypto transactions and these payloads across the internet, but we're also sharing our IP address, which is a concern for our internet service providers or anyone that could follow our IP address. If you're not using a VPN, having one natively baked into your wallet application sounds like a cool idea. So that's something we're working on now.
And that'll be part of Edge?
Part of
Edge
Edge
ecosystem?
Yeah, part of just using the wallet, you'll have your IP address not being broadcasted all over the place.
Fuck yes,
Yeah,
bro.
that's the idea.
Yeah, like there's a lot of like VPNs now that aren't actually that private. It's like, what's the point of it existing? Like, yeah, because yeah, so that is definitely interesting to hear.
Yeah, have it baked into the
I'll
application
be
you're
keeping an
using.
ear out for that. Let me know.
Guys.
Awesome. Too good to us. Yeah, VPN on that.
Something to look into.
Awesome.
Like, I can do that. Okay. Also, there's an addition to Litecoin, MWeb. Have you heard of MWeb?
Of course.
Yeah. So privacy for Litecoin is in the radar. We're working on that as well.
All right. You know what I got to ask you about? I have to We have to talk about. Oh,
Dun,
the
dun,
mascot is
dun.
here. The cutest dog. Can we get this dog on camera?
Come on, baby.
Look at the collar on this.
Yeah. Also, since Daniel's on our support team, I gotta say, next week we are launching our Signal support line, and so we're super excited about that. Since we're all focused on privacy, and so it's a fully private way to communicate with our support team. While it's awesome that we have a real human support team, then you can still stay private. So we're really excited.
When users reach out to support, it's expected that they're giving up a little bit of privacy. Reaching out by their email or whatever. So we put a lot of time and effort to make it so that people could use the Signal app to reach out to us still.
Paul fucking loves Signal.
Oh goodness.
I'm like, what? Like when I first met him, like, what's your Telegram? He's like, what's your Signal? I'm like, okay. That's how you know somebody's a real agorist. It's like when you ask them for their Telegram and they're like, nah, Signal. I'm like, okay, like, all right, fine.
Yeah, we're really excited about that one. So
Yeah,
cool stuff.
that's pretty sick. Look at this dog. Is this the cutest fucking dog ever?
I love the glow in the dark. He
I
must be
know.
have been at the party over there,
I
ready
know.
to go.
Loves the camera.
Yeah.
Loves the camera. I love it.
Center stage.
That's what's up.
Front and center.
Okay.
Distracting, huh? Sorry, the dog's too cute. The dog's too cute.
I lost my train of thought. All right, privacy, edge. Okay. Cash fusion, Bitcoin Cash. Look, here's the bottom line. I go to the Bitcoin Cash conference in Slovenia. Do I have the lighter? So I go to the Bitcoin Cash conference in Slovenia, and I go with the intent. Now I'm in privacy coins, and I go with the intent of telling everybody, like, look, guys, we need more privacy in Bitcoin Cash, and I do. And I'm sitting at the bar one night, and this guy comes up to me, and he's like, Sal, do you know that if you download Stack Wallet, they run Cash Fusion constantly, which is it has a higher anonymity set than Monero, which makes Bitcoin Cash essentially private. And I'm like, man, that's fucking huge. The fact that you can have a pseudonymous chain run essentially privately all the time is huge. I don't know what that entails, but that is a game changer. And I'm like, yo, I got to talk to my people at Edge. And here I am talking to my people at Edge. What's...
Yeah. And Edge hears you.
Yeah? Really?
Yeah.
For real?
No, yeah, we're
Really?
looking into it. Comparing... Yeah, the issue with that similar is like Samurai Wallet. When we're having kind of mixing technology, how kosher is it really? We don't know. We're looking into other technologies. I heard of Arc as well, another possibility to essentially kind of create privacy, but it's not necessarily
regulatory issues.
Yeah, regulatory issues around privacy stuff. It gets a little bit scary when the waters are not clear yet. So it's murky waters in terms of regulation. So we want to make sure that we're providing the best privacy, but still
don't
playing the rules.
We can't have Paul.
No, we want Edge to survive the test of time.
Yes. We've had enough casualties in the war on crypto.
Oh, yeah. So we were trying to do things by the book so that everything is above board. For instance, we're never touching the money. We're never the custodian of funds. We're just the tech stack. We're making sure that everybody is having their private key in their own hands only.
Yeah, Paul's like. He's like, I don't collect KYC. He's like, I don't want your information. He's like, it makes my life hell. I don't actually want it.
It's such hell that there's a lot of data collection that apps do that to make the app better. And we essentially, by principle, don't collect any of this data. No tap data, nothing. So we don't know who the users are. We don't know which accounts are owning to which person. We don't have any data collection at all. Just
at zero, none.
No, and it can be verified because
so
it's
now
an open source protocol.
I can off ramp.
You can off ramp
into fiat shitcoin.
You could off ramp into fiat shitcoin, and
so I can go in Edge Wallet and I can move from crypto to fiat.
Yeah, we have an integrated exchange going on and off. So you have your on and off ramp and a crypto swap.
That's hot, bro.
Multi-chain.
That's hot.
It's cool because it's all simple in one wallet, one location, one stop shop. I enjoy using Edge personally.
That's sexy. That's sexy.
It's sexy.
Yeah, I know. I mean, that's honestly huge.
That's clean sex experience, as if you were on a centralized exchange. I think we're moving to be even more sexier and sexier. That's the idea, is to make it fluid, a sex-like experience, but in a DeFi
Oh,
wallet.
word. They're talking dirty up here.
Okay.
Getting Sal over here.
Is this, are we streaming on X or
You said get
where
sexy.
are we? Yeah. All right, guys, give me a like and a retweet. What do I have to do around here for a fucking retweet for you guys? Jesus Christ. Let's see. I'm up to not enough people. It's embarrassing. We only have like 11,000 people watching right now on X, and we have another 2 at Monerotopia. Shout out to our friends at Monerotopia who are watching this, and MoneroCon in Prague. Shout out to all of you guys. God bless you. Thanks for hopping in here. Number one multi-chain mobile wallet in the world. We are here with 2 of the leading people from Edge. Elizabeth Nakamoto, Satoshi's daughter, yeah, who was renowned for Japanese heritage.
That was an accident. I'm sorry. I'm just too nice. So I just accidentally said thank you. So, but thank you, but not. I don't know.
Yeah.
Duress mode.
Duress mode.
Activate.
Dun dun. Out.
So wait, talk to me about you guys personally. I know it's not about y'all, but like dev, marketing. Are you guys into development and marketing, or are you guys into crypto? Are you a fellow traveler, or are you a paid hand?
All right, I see you, Sal.
I'm caught the fireballs tonight.
No, I love it. I love how raw you are, honestly.
I have to be.
I started working at Edgewall about like 3 months ago, and so it's been an amazing experience. Honestly, I feel like, especially being at Porcfest. So I was at the Bitcoin conference 2 weeks ago, and that's like one side of the spectrum, right? And so in Vegas, yeah. So one side of the spectrum, and then I come to Porcfest, and I'm like, oh my gosh,
Sailors of the world.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it was interesting.
I'm sorry.
I'm still learning, and
You're
so
at the opposite end of the spectrum here.
yes, 1,000%. But also, I'm like, wow, this is really like eye-opening and so cool to experience, because I don't know, I have always been really open in that way, and I've been in crypto like, gosh, I think right when I got out of college, I invested, and when you first get in, you invest, then I kind of fell off for a little bit, and then I honestly was looking for the next thing. I've been in marketing for the past few years. I was really sick of the corporate life, and just felt like I lost it all. And then I stumbled into Edge Wallet on LinkedIn because I live in San Diego, and it's been a really awesome experience to be a part of it, because I get to be here and I get to meet all these really cool people that care about amazing things. So
And honestly,
yeah.
crypto is one of the best industries for marketing right now, because
Oh my gosh.
it is exploding. I mean,
Yeah,
it's been exploding since 2013.
1,000%. Yeah, and
But back then, we didn't really have the resources to pay people for marketing.
yeah.
Nowadays, we do. Nowadays, the tide has shifted.
Yeah, I actually, when I first invested, it was because I had a friend who actually, he quit his job and was working for a crypto company. And I was like, what are you doing? And he helped me get into it. He was helping me understand. And I saw how it could change his life, because he retired at 29. Like, I'm 29 now. Like, that's wild, And so, it really opened my eyes to just like what it can do, and like how you can really be free in this world,
I have friends back home who, they said I was crazy, and some of my friends who were like the most successful right out of high school, like they started their business, right out of high school, and they were killing it. They'd be like, Sal, what's wrong with you? You're like, you need to, you're doing this crypto shit. Like, you need to like, and I'm like literally, well, you know what? They're still working those jobs. And here I am in fucking Porcfest on a Thursday getting drunk and stoned with you motherfuckers. You know what I mean? Like, so who was right? Who was wrong? You know what I mean? Exactly.
That's what.
Oh man! So I got into Bitcoin back when it was $15, just poking around to figure out how to order drugs on the internet because of the Silk Road.
Drums, yeah, me too. Buddy.
Yeah,
me too.
drums.
I was buying drums for
drums.
when Bitcoin was $15.
I'm a big drummer.
yeah. SilkRoad.com, right?
Yeah. Anyways, I took those 2 Bitcoin, I sent them to the wrong wallet address, and I lost my $30. And that was my end of my crypto journey for a while.
That's like $250,000 today. It's like $250,000, bro.
Yeah, it's one of those hindsight lessons that keeps coming back.
Somebody's like still like thanking you. They're playing every night. Thank you for that guy
Yeah.
who sent me the wrong Bitcoin. Like,
yeah. So yeah. And then so Bitcoin went up, and I was like, wow, what did I just fumble? And then I was like down to the 300 range, and I was playing around the Silk Road to buy drums because I'm a drummer.
Of course, me too.
Drums, yeah, sure.
Boom, boom, boom.
What's your favorite beat?
Oh, he knows it. He knows it. He's got it.
I meant the timing, but I was just testing.
Yeah. We'll keep. Oh, you know it.
He's got it.
I do like Beatles.
All right, so you were buying drums from Poland for Bitcoin in 2013.
Fascinating experience using PGP encryption to make sure my address didn't leak to some random person online. Make sure only the intended person could get it. So it's like kind of getting just a handle on weird privacy protocols and what's possible on this weird internet thing that the mainstream hasn't touched yet. And I just kept researching and exploring and surfing the blockchains. Fun time, my goodness. And then before you know it, there's more money than I realized I could make in so many years. So I sampled retirement for a little bit, and then I was just going to meetups in San Diego and hanging out at Edge office whenever they would invite me there to hang out as a community member.
Oh, hell yes.
And so I had a lot of FaceTime in there, and then they're like, "Do you work for support?" I was like, "I guess so."
I'm already answering the phones anyway.
Yeah,
Might as
no,
well.
it's been fun. It doesn't feel like a job. I go to work and I
hell
enjoy
yes.
a lot of it.
Dude,
Yeah,
if you
it's a lot of fun.
I tell everyone, if you can find a way to earn money and enjoy it, you essentially are retired.
Doesn't feel like work. No.
Yeah.
I get to help people all over the world every day with problems that are very intimate. This is money. This is hardcore stuff, and it's new money, so they don't understand it necessarily well yet.
This is why, as Agorist guys, we promote entrepreneurship, because if you actually do what you love, I mean, it sounds like cliche, but you truly never will work a day in your life.
1,000%.
I'm blessed by the Lord that I get to earn a living by talking shit about politicians, which I was doing for free before I started getting paid to do it. My friends would be like, "Shut up, bro. We get it. Nancy Pelosi, I know." And I'm like, "Bro, she's fucking robbing me." And then like now it's like I do it to an audience on Twitter, and Elon Musk will pay me for it.
I gotta say, Daniel was a huge help for me with learning everything since I started my job. At Edge. I mean, crypto in general. Like, I mean, there's so much to learn, right? Like, I was, like I said, invested, but I wasn't in this space, and I feel like since being like having this job, I've really just like learned so much. And so, yeah, the Edge team and just everybody here too. It's awesome. The crypto community is so open to helping everybody learn. So,
when you were talking about buying drums and stuff. I have a buddy who used to also buy instruments, and surprise, right? And he would buy instruments from Poland, these fucking degenerate Europeans back here, flooding the United States,
Netherlands,
with their poison. So he went to jail.
Wow.
Yeah, but it was the best thing that ever happened to him, because he went to jail for a year and he couldn't spend his Bitcoin, and he got out of jail and he was rich.
Wow, interesting story.
Yeah, and I was like, bro, going to jail was the best thing that ever happened to you.
Yo, forced delayed gratification.
Literally, I don't know, he must have been 26, stopped working, moved to South Carolina, didn't like it, so he moved to Denver and bought like a barber shop or something, or some kind of business. Now he just lives out there and goes to concerts, and he's still doing the same, playing the drums, as he used to. And but it's like, and my point is like, at that time we all thought that we were all sort of protected by the pseudonymous nature of Bitcoin. We all thought that, and that was the whole, what Ross was doing with the Silk Road, was the idea was that our identity is concealed behind the string of numerical or characters and whatnot, and we're safe. It didn't take long for the parasites to evolve blockchain analytics, and they figured out, they were able to sort of track us and find out who we are, and that's what happened to Ross. And
This is honestly, side note, this is like the smoothest stream we've ever had. Like minimal problems. So that's nothing. Yeah, you know. So
this guy, we gotta send this guy some Zano.
yeah, we got you, bro. Yeah.
He's running the stream. But now we realize that privacy is more important. Like back then, we were able to get away with this shit. Nowadays, we can't. And Edge sort of appreciates, like, they actually support our mission in like promoting that privacy. And that is what I sort of
you need the platform. Like it's not just about the coin. Like you need a way to use it. You know.
It's also their dedication is unique in the mobile wallet ecosystem. So I appreciate that about you guys. Yeah, thank you. All right, before we kick you off, any closing statements about anything crypto, Edge, in general?
You know, I guess if I had to say one last thing, I just made the new catchphrase for Edge, so I think I like it. Privacy isn't optional; it's your edge. Oh, I thought you'd like it. Thank you.
Here to hear first.
Thank you. So yeah, no, thank you so much for having us. Honestly, it's been awesome getting to chat with you guys and connect. And first time I met Sal in person was yesterday, so it's really awesome. Yeah. So thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, it's likewise pleasure. You know, I was introduced to agorism through you, so
nice, absolutely.
Yeah, it's a whole cultural difference, and I feel like it's empowering to be here. It's like I'm cool to be a +1 in this community. You know?
Yeah, like you're actually like here at Porcfest, you live anarchy. You don't just talk about it, you live freedom
together.
Like out there, you talk about freedom.
You get here, you get to sample it,
fucking
taste it.
Bingo, bro.
Yeah, so
that's
thank
why
you
I love
for
Porcfest. If you have the chance to come to Porcfest, come here.
Agreed.
1000%.
All right, so next up, I want to bring on the homeboy from Pirate Chain, which y'all also support.
Let him finish his hit.
Is that your dog? That's your dog is the mascot? Okay, all right, okay. It's just a dog.
Yeah.
Someone's dog.
Dogs just wandered on.
All right,
it's
thank
fine.
you guys.
Thank you guys.
One of these.
All right.
All right, listen, I broke the seal, so I have to pee again.
All right.
Give my man here, Adam. He doesn't know a fucking thing about crypto. He only knows what I told him.
Yeah.
Give him like the basic on Pirate Chain, because there's people watching who probably never heard of Pirate Chain, and like just break down the minimum for them. BRB.
Awesome. I just want to point out I was sober at 8:30 when I was scheduled.
Hey, we were all sober at some point tonight. We're past that now. So.
Awesome. Well, I'm stoked to be on here. I've been following Sal for years, so this is great.
Yeah, I mean, we met randomly like a year ago, and
really?
It's only a little over a year.
Nice.
He's very knowledgeable. You know?
He is. He's a man. He's been around this scene forever.
Yeah.
He's influenced a lot of people, so we freaking love Sal.
But yeah, let's talk about you.
Okay,
let our audience know who you are and what are you about.
Yeah, I'm Daniel. I'm from Pirate Chain. I don't really put my last name out there on the internet. I mean, if you work hard enough, you can probably dig it up. But I'm Daniel from Pirate Chain. My role is first mate, which I'm just the guy that they send out to events like this to talk about stuff. There's some really smart developers and a lot of people that work really hard behind the scenes, and I'm the guy who comes out here and takes all the credit for it. So it's I got the best job ever at Pirate Chain. I mean, it's a volunteer role. None of us are paid. We're all volunteers at Pirate Chain, or at least on our team, you know. So in Pirate Chain, we are a privacy coin. We're similar to Monero or something like that, but there are a few very distinct differences. You know, Monero and most privacy coins, they use obfuscation, or at least for the time being. Monero's moving to some new stuff, but they use obfuscation to gain privacy. They take your real transaction and they mix it up with decoy transactions on the blockchain, and it does give you a very high level of privacy that way. But unfortunately, it still leaves some data on the blockchain. With Pirate Chain, we use something called zero knowledge proofs, which is a way to prove something is true without revealing any information about it. So we don't have to have any information broadcast on the blockchain, no sender, receiver, or amounts, or anything really. So it is a very there's costs and benefits to everything with Monero and Pirate Chain. You know, we don't reveal anything on the blockchain, but we use what's called a zero knowledge proof that's called ZK Snarks. It is rather heavy, you know, compared to, it takes a lot of computing power compared to like Monero or something else. So I'm a big fan of Monero. I come from the Monero community. But example I like to use to help people understand zero knowledge proofs. We like have an example. We use the Where's Waldo books. If you ever use Where's Waldo book.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So imagine I have a Where's Waldo book and I take a piece of paper and cut a small hole in it. And I put the hole right over Waldo's head and then show it to you. I can prove that I know where Waldo is without revealing to you where Waldo actually is. So I'm able to, in the case of blockchains, I'm able to prove to you that the funds I'm sending you are real funds. It's not like fake inflated coins or something like that, and that it's a valid transaction on the blockchain without revealing my amounts, the other wallets I've interacted with, or my address or anything like that. So I think it's a very elegant solution for privacy. And I'm happy to see like other blockchains, Monero is moving to a type of zero knowledge, a different type of zero knowledge proof, but they're moving to something similar with their full chain membership proofs upgrade. So I'm pretty excited about it. So yeah, and we another distinct difference we have from Monero and most private, actually most coins in general, is we have something that's called delayed proof of work, DPoW. So are you familiar with 51% attacks?
I've heard a little about it today,
Okay.
but just explain to me and for our viewers as well.
A 51% attack is where adversary or someone with ill intent, they are able to control 51% of the mining power, so 51% of the network. If you have that much control over it, you can basically do what you want.
Right.
You can print coins, you can destroy coins, like you have control over the network at that point.
It would be like, if you bought more shares than everyone of a company, you've more control of that company.
That is a very good example. So, and this is very dangerous to blockchains, especially in the early days when they're first starting out and their hash power isn't very high. Less people mining it, the lower the hash power, the easier it is to do a 51%.
A little more
attack.
vulnerable.
Yeah. So we use what's called delayed proof of work. And this means that our blockchain is broadcast not only to our own blockchain, but is broadcast to another chain called the Komodo blockchain, and then to Litecoin's blockchain also. So theoretically, to do a 51% attack on Pirate Chain, you would need 51% of Pirate Chain's hash power, 51% of Komodo's hash power, and 51% of Litecoin's hash power, which Litecoin obviously is one of the biggest coins and has like a ton of hash power, so it makes it very difficult.
Right.
So I'd say those are the two distinct technological differences between Pirate Chain and most other privacy coins.
And that kind of attack just doesn't make sense financially. I mean,
Yes.
if you're like someone who, just for example, like if it's two companies competing, if it costs you more money, like if it basically bankrupts you to destroy the other company, like what would be the point? Like you're just hurting yourself. So
it is a really cool technology.
Yeah.
And it actually is something that other chains can implement. It's not something that's like, there's a project called Komodo, and they're the ones who built it. We're a completely independent chain. We don't need Komodo or Litecoin to operate. We could just stop using it, but then we wouldn't have the 51% attack protection that we do. So it's something other blockchains could implement if they want to look at. So it's called delayed proof of work. If anybody's interested in there, go and Google it. It is very interesting. Does give you some more protection over 51% attacks.
Pirate Chain's been around for a while.
Yeah, 2018.
2018.
Yeah.
Okay. I remember the North American Bitcoin conference in Miami conversing with the Pirate Chain team back in the day. It seems like has the project lost steam over the years?
I wouldn't say it's lost steam. I mean, obviously,
has the privacy ecosystem gotten more?
Yes, the entire privacy ecosystem like really lost a ton of liquidity from when we got delisted from tons of exchanges, not just Pirate Chain, but Monero, and a lot of that liquidity just comes from like day traders on different exchanges. As much as we don't. I mean, I wouldn't say don't like. I'm not a speculator. I don't have any interest in speculating, and a lot of people have a bad taste in their mouth for speculators and day traders. But honestly, they bring a lot of liquidity to something, which makes it easier to get in and out of it. And for
so the traders serve one function from an Agorist perspective.
Yeah.
And that is, when the price gets too high, they sell it and the price comes down. When the price gets too low, they buy it and the price comes up. And that sort of helps remove some of the volatility from the market, which makes it easier for us Agorists to use it as a medium of exchange.
Yeah, Walter Block Walter Block has his books Defending the Undefendable.
Oh yeah,
He has
classics.
yeah, he has a section on speculators in there. So the people
Yep,
out there hate day traders and stuff. Go
That's
read
where I learned it.
Yeah, the chapter from Walter Block in Defending the Undefendable. It's a great read. So
My man.
yeah, I've been around this
Walter
for a while.
Block.
Man.
Fuck yes. Okay. All right, let's go. All right. So where's Pirate Chain at today? And what's next?
Well, the next big upgrade we're really working on is what's called the Halo 2/Orchard upgrade, which we're a fork of Zcash. I don't know if I mentioned that before, but we forked Zcash because we found that they were the first to implement zero knowledge proofs as a privacy protocol.
What was that fork about?
Well, I mean, it wasn't a contentious fork or anything like that. It's just that Zcash launched and they didn't shield their entire chain. They made the privacy optional. So you have the choice to make transparent transactions or private transactions on Zcash. And we found that for a lot of reasons that the privacy is compromised even of the people in the shielded that are using private transactions. Their privacy can be compromised by not shielding the entire chain. Because there's like certain types of like timing attacks, they call them and stuff, like where if you send a specific amount of Zcash into a shielded transaction, so if you're going from a transparent address to a shielded address, you can see half that transaction. You can see the address is leaving and going into it, but you can't see where it's going. So they can do timing attacks where if they see an exact amount of
right, yeah, they can figure it out
when they go out. And also when you have those transparent transactions, a lot of the exchanges and institutions or just services you work with, they won't accept the private transaction. So there's quite a few exchanges that you can't deposit private Zcash into or withdraw it. You have to do it for transparent. That really screws up your privacy. If you buy a bunch of it and have a specific amount, send it to a shielded address, then try to sell it at a later time, and it's the exact same amount going. It's really easy to link that or use probabilities to assume that both those transactions belong to the same person.
Right.
So we found it, and it also makes it for more fungible. Pirate Chain, one pirate, and this is like the same story for Xano or Monero or any fully shielded blockchain. One coin is exactly like the next coin because it doesn't have a history on it.
Mises call that
fungibility.
Fungibility.
Yes.
Fungibility.
And yeah, and because it's interesting though, because
we all took fungibility for granted.
Yeah.
This is the story that I try to tell everyone is that and I think a broken record at this point. This poor guy's heard me say this a million times. We thought that pseudonymity was sufficient.
I did too. Yes.
Same. And we learned very quickly with the war on crypto that it is not. And that's why we should have listened to Mises and Rothbard and taken them more seriously and Menger because they told us that fungibility was not optional. And it turns out that they were right.
Exactly. And it's an interesting little anecdote that if you pay attention to when governments seize Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies, they auction them off often. And if you notice, those auctions always sell at a premium over the spot price at the time. And the reason they sell at a premium is because they have the government stamp of approval on them. Like you bought them from the government, so the government can't seize them from you or something in the future. Isn't that crazy?
What a scam!
Yeah,
a fucking scam.
Exactly. So that's why we find that privacy equals fungibility. I think they're kind of the same.
That's why
thing
I was on a
crypto.
panel with Lynn Ulbricht earlier, and they're talking about the Bitcoin Sovereign Reserve Fund. I'm like, it's not a sovereign reserve fund. It's the money that they stole from this poor woman's son.
Yeah.
I'm like, how could you say? Like, imagine. I know. That's what I mean. Imagine if they said to Ross, "You're right. We're sorry. We were wrong. You're right. We never should have put you in jail. But we're gonna keep all of your cryptocurrency." And we're gonna call it a sovereign reserve fund.
Yeah, it's really a slap in the face. I'm gonna call it the Free Ross Reserve Fund from now on.
Like, don't even get me started. It is. It's outrageous. It's outrageous.
It's crazy.
Like the pirate hat.
All right, where's yours? I gave it to you
I
for
know.
a specific reason.
I know.
You forgot it.
I will have it. I will wear it on. He gave me a pirate hat last night, and I actually left it back at the Airbnb. But I will wearing it on stream.
I forgive you. We're having fun tonight.
We have a bunch of Pirate Chain stickers and whatnot. We're building out the new studio.
Yeah.
And we're gonna have some Pirate Chain stuff in there. So
that's gonna be awesome. And hearing you guys talk about it. So
yeah.
One thing I wanted to I'd love to talk, pirate technicals and stuff like that. I don't know, the loose mood I'm in tonight. I really kind of just want to hammer home like finding unity amongst like the privates, the peer-to-peer cash people in crypto,
Okay, I'm with you.
Yeah.
You, me, we're all together, but there's a band of maximalists.
Yeah.
And we're broadcasting live at Monero Con right now.
Yeah.
And Monerotopia's broadcasting, so we love all of those people. We love Monero.
Yeah.
There is a very small subset
yeah.
of that community who are a little bit hostile towards other actors in the privacy community.
Yeah, I get it.
Have you found that in Pirate Chain? Because I think in Zeno, that's definitely been the case.
Oh, yeah. We get a ton of hostility. I mean, it's mostly online because we sponsored Monerotopia. I went down there. I got along with everybody, Oh, and also with like development. Like I talked to Luke Parker and stuff like that. Arctic Miner. He's a big, really big developer in Monero. Me and him are like friends at this point. Like I get along great with him. He gives us tips and says what he thinks Pirate Chain should do. So it seems like the important, and like the Xano guys, like I consider the Xano guys, they're my boys at this point,
Right,
We had several events together. We get along great. We're all just fighting for privacy and freedom. I really find like the higher level, like the more important people in these projects, like we all get along, right?
Right.
Or at least they're putting on a face to me. We all have fun together.
Do you know who's sowing division in these communities?
It's feds. Yeah. I mean,
he's just like, it's the feds. He's like, it's the feds. Like, obviously.
We need to add like a fist bump counter because like he just keeps nailing it here,
Yeah, dude.
But like on that, I've seen a lot of the Privacy Coin members here during Porcfest, and you're not fighting, you're not avoiding each other, you're literally talking, collaborating, and I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, I mean the Xano guys hang out every time we see each other. They're like my friends.
It just speaks for like you all have the same goal. It's not just a business. You're not just to make money. Like, so yeah, we got to make more money than the other coin. Like it's really not like that. You're all working for the same cause.
Yeah, and I just want options. I mean, because there is a chance that there's already been a bunch of privacy projects that had like huge bugs in them, privacy bugs or inflation bugs or something like that. So there is a chance that there'll be a problem with one of these projects. We don't want to rely on one. Like if for us to wake up one day and not have an option,
you don't just want one because God forbid there's one gets corrupted. Like you don't want that. You don't want to be the one player in town. I mean, like look at Bitcoin. Like that was the only coin. And look how, if you were in it just purely for the money, fine. Yeah, you made some money. But like, at least I hope most people here, it's about the freedom and privacy. So
if they can hijack Bitcoin, they can hijack your favorite privacy coin.
Exactly. We have to stay vigilant, man. We're seeing, the privacy sector is seeing more success on a grassroots level. So we need to like be on our, make sure the target is like peer-to-peer decentralized business, decentralized cash, essentially. I know other projects like Xano are adding on to that. We got to keep that core ideology strong. We can't let them corrupt it.
Absolutely.
And we really got to.
Yeah. And I mean, it's kind of, even though there's like the setbacks or like they're trying to shut it down or, it's still a good sign. It means it's working. We're on the way for these, coins and privacy is actually a way to escape their monopoly, and the fact that they're really trying to ramp down on it means it's working.
They inflate. We come up with an alternative like gold or silver, and they come at us. We come up with an alternative like Bitcoin. They come at, and then they come after that, and then we come up with an alternative like privacy coins, Xano, Pirate Chain, Monero, right? So we're always one step ahead of them. All right, man. Final thoughts, Pirate Chain, where can people go to learn more?
I want to say one more thing.
Yes,
like,
tell me anything you want to tell me.
In crypto since the beginning of Bitcoin, there's always been this question about scalability. Like, what if I told you guys I can double Monero's scalability overnight? I can triple it right now. We use Monero, we use Pirate Chain, and we use Xano.
Yes, right.
Now we got 3 times the
Furo.
scalability.
And
And Furo,
Furo.
before we just quadrupled it,
Yes.
guys. Come on. The scalability will come. We got options here.
No, but you're not wrong in the sense that you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah, exactly. I would never tell anybody. You can go listen to any podcast or public speaking I've ever done. You'll never once hear me say invest in Pirate Chain or even invest in Monero when I was promoting that. I say use it. If I don't not know what the price is going to do, please do not mortgage your house and
Right.
freaking buy. I don't make that decision based on what I said. But you can go buy $100 worth of Pirate Chain or Monero or Xano. You can go buy some stuff. You can go pay for your VPN. You can come here to Porcfest and spend it. So everybody can go and buy $20 worth and use it to gain privacy in your daily transactions. You don't have to go mortgage your house and just speculate on the price. Use this stuff. These are incredibly private tools. There's never been a better payment network that's ever existed in the history of mankind. With privacy coins, you can send millions of dollars to the other side of the world in a fraction of a second for a fraction of a penny. Nobody can see it and nobody can stop it. That is so revolutionary.
Yeah,
and we forgot that.
Like, even if you're not about privacy per se, your phone. Oh, we got another guest.
Hey, what's up, man?
Hello.
Seal the show here.
But even if you are more interested in the financials of it, like let's say you're trading stocks, I mean, you would diversify. You don't want to have all your eggs in one basket. So it just makes sense that we need all these coins, and they're not competition. You're all in it for the same reason.
Exactly. We agree on 99.99% of our ideology. Why are we letting this tiny sliver? We're letting them divide us over this itty bitty freaking tiny differences. I can't stand it anymore.
All right. Before we kick you off, final thoughts.
Pirate Chain. Come check us out at piratechain.com. I'm really proud of what we've done. We're a fair launch project. We're just a grassroots group of pirates. None of us are paid. We're all volunteers. We don't have any funding mechanism whatsoever besides donations from our community and spending our own time and money to build and promote this stuff. I'm really proud of what we've done, and I'm really trying to reach out to the rest of the privacy community and the people who care about freedom, who care about a way to do business without funding a genocide in Gaza.
Plus, look at the hat.
And look at this hat.
Fucking
Look at
fire.
this.
Come on.
Where you can find us at piratechain.com. Come, all the information you need there. Come join our Discord, Telegram, whatever. Let's hang out. Let's talk. Come interact with us. And for haters in the privacy community that don't like us, come talk to me. Come spend some time with me. I bet you $1 will get along.
Yeah, and you know what? I think you'll be hearing more about Pirate Chain on all other privacy coins and privacy solutions in general on Subversive section here. Again, this is a special episode. We're doing this here we're live from Porcfest, and we're broadcasting live at MoneroCon right now from Monerotopia. It's the only reason why we're even doing a special episode. Normally, we wouldn't be here on a Friday night. Appreciate you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'm a huge fan, guys. So
Yeah,
I'm so stoked to be
absolutely.
here. Thanks for having me on.
All right. The last thing I want to talk about here is let's throw it back. You get off the stage, bro. Get out of here. Get out of here. Let's kick it way back to the gold and silver days. Come on up here, my man. We have Peter Schiff himself. No, I'm just kidding. Introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes, we're going really old school now, way back. I'm the old man in the room, but I think there's a way that this ties back in to what you guys are cooking here, what you guys are up to. And I think we can think about it, talk about it, and maybe come up with some ideas.
Ron, you got that lighter? Sorry, Ronnie gave me this Dutch cigar.
You got to get that
from
going.
The Netherlands,
Yeah, you got to keep things going.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. It's almost done anyway, but go ahead.
My name is David. I'm a veterinarian by trade, and a patriot at heart, and a sound money advocate. I am been working in Florida, and my passion is working with a group called Citizens for Sound Money. I'm new to their advisory board, and we've been working over the past couple of years on getting gold and silver legal tender legislation passed in various states. As of this point, 10 states have reaffirmed gold and silver as legal tender in their states. Florida was the most recent one. We just got that passed. Actually, our legislation
saw that. I did see that.
It passed the House unanimously, in the Senate unanimously, and Governor DeSantis signed it enthusiastically.
So what does that mean? We can pay our taxes in gold and silver?
They're setting up a system so that you would be able to do that. It was a very ambitious bill that they finally adopted.
Can you do that in the
created.
Netherlands? I don't think so.
Yeah, but it's if you want to. You know, that's not a good example of Gresham's law, right? We'll give them. We'll give them the toilet paper.
We just like busting balls here.
We'll give them the toilet paper. But it's a very, very big deal because it's the largest state to adopt such legislation. Now, let's go back to the Constitution of the United States.
Congress shall have the power to coin money.
Article 1, Section 10 says, no state shall make anything a payment in the 10 and make anything but gold and silver coin a tender in debt. The same clause also says, no state shall coin money. All right. But we're not supposed to make anything other than gold and silver coin a tender in payment of debt. So what 10 states have done is simply reaffirm gold and silver as legal tender.
We're going to go back to following the law. It's radical, revolutionary, but we're going to go back to the way it was supposed to be done.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's a very important thing. You know, a lot of people don't realize or don't know. Here, I give always a couple of examples that often will open people's eyes. 100 years ago, you could buy a house, your average house, with about 200 ounces of gold. Price of gold was what, 20 bucks an ounce or something like that back then. It was fixed. Today, you can buy your average house in America for 200 ounces of gold. Gold, what now, $3,400 an ounce about?
Right.
So that's $680,000. That'll buy you a nice house. Okay. I really got into the sound money movement as a young man because I was born in 1965.
You're still a young man.
I was born in 1965. And back then, the change we used to get, there would be some silver coins in there because the quarters and the dimes were 90% silver back then. You look at a quarter sideways and you could tell if it was silver or not. The ones we have now are copper with nickel cladding on either side. So they changed from that coinage in 1965. So in 1964, your dimes and quarters were 90% silver. In 1964, a gallon of gasoline cost 25 cents. That 1964 quarter, that's 90% silver, has $5 of silver worth in it today.
So in other words, it's not
you
that
can still buy a gallon or a gallon and a half of gasoline with that 1964 quarter. It's held its purchasing
power. The price
power.
of goods and services when priced in precious metals has remained stable, but the price of goods and services when priced in dollars has gone up and up and up. And it's really the inverse because the price of the dollar has gone down. It isn't that the cost of goods and services has gone up. It's just what the dollar will buy you has gone down. And that's why he's saying gold and silver have remained
creature
stable.
from Jekyll Island.
Great book.
The Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve Act,
the banking
1913,
cartel, the enemy,
went into effect in 1913 when they created the Federal Reserve, which, as most of which
Read the
neither
book.
federal nor has any reserves. They just print money up out of thin air and lend it to our Congress to spend irresponsibly.
And this
that's
was all
gotten us-
done vis-a-vis a coup d'etat in 1912 when you read the full story in my book, The American Experiment, where they actually rigged the election of 1912. The bankers did so that a candidate who was favorable to the Federal Reserve would win. It's actually one of the most disgusting stories in American history that people don't know about.
And they passed, well, the leading bankers of the time met in secret on the Jekyll Island off the coast of Georgia in about, I think it was 1911. And in 1912, you know, they said, oh, well, what can we do? How can we expand our power? Well, if we could control the nation's, the creation of the nation's currency and control the money supply of the United States of America, that would be a really good thing. And so they said, okay, how do we do it? Well, they drew up the legislation, and then all they had to do was buy off enough senators to get it passed. So they met in secret on Jekyll Island, came up with this legislation, and they passed it on the day before Christmas Eve, 1912, when they knew they had the votes, and most, you know, several of the senators and would be out of town, right? Everybody had gone home, but they knew they had the votes, and they passed it that way the night before Christmas Eve. Within 7 years of the implementation of the Federal Reserve Act, the
World War One.
Well, and the U.S. dollar lost 50% of its purchasing power in 7 years. 50% of your money was
And we
gone.
had the Spanish flu, so we had war, pestilence, and poverty all within like 7 years of the Federal Reserve being created.
As you brought up multiple times, your highest disgust with the U.S. dollar is that it funds perpetual death and destruction, perpetual war. And it absolutely is true. It's disgusting. Paper money is evil. It leads to all this death and destruction all over the planet. It's absolutely disgusting. And I'm ashamed that my country has done this. And what we can do to kill that dragon, anything we can do, we're all working towards that. We want to slay that dragon. And cryptocurrencies is part of that battle. Gold and silver is part of that battle too. And so there are some things that a lot of people probably don't know that you can do with gold and silver now. And I think there may be a way that it ties back in to what you guys are doing here with privacy coins. I was kind of, a light bulb went off in my mind here, but you know, there are other people in the room that are smarter than me, but hopefully we can get some ideas going.
Yeah, like see, the problem is they control the money. They've already convinced everyone that's what they have to use. It's hard to attack that.
They're
but what we can do is make it less valuable. So if we're using crypto, their money's less valuable. That means it's less valuable to them. Because this is the system they've created. I think it would be like a genius kind of fuck you if like we've made the dollar less valuable. The thing you're using, you're making us work for, and then we're taxing you on it. And then you have to buy things that are taxed on the thing you've already paid tax on. If we devalue that, it's like, yeah, cool. Take it. It's not worth anything to me. And, you know, I'd rather have crypto, you know, whether it's gold or it's crypto, you know, that is a good way to like kind of get back at them.
Taking back control.
I don't know what the fuck you just said, bro. What are you talking about?
We're trying to devalue the dollar, the money.
How?
By using crypto. If no one's using the dollar, it's not going to be worth as much. So the government.
Choice.
No, like what I'm
I think he's talking about by competition.
What I'm saying is they're taxing our US dollars. If they don't have dollars to tax us on, their dollar's worth nothing, which means even without like getting rid of the dollar's just not worth much. They don't have their currency anymore, you know?
Nothing pisses me off more.
You're,
Okay.
you're next. You're next. Okay.
So we have constitutional money, gold and silver. It's written in the Constitution, and they create this bastard child, fiat currency, and then they declare, okay, it has value. This is $1. I'll never believe it. The true value, a true dollar was defined in the Coinage Act of 1792 as 371 and a quarter grains of pure silver. That's 24 grams of pure silver, which is 0.77 troy ounces. So the silver dollars that they used to make have 3/4 of an ounce of pure silver in them. That's the definition of $1 as far as I'm concerned.
Okay, I agree with you. Here's the thing. How does getting these legal tender laws passed restrict the state's ability to murder children on the other side of the world?
That's good. We need alternatives to the US dollar. We need alternatives. We need competition brings you better products, right? We need several different types. And so gold and silver, getting back to gold and silver, money that they can't print up willy-nilly to fund wars limits their war-making power, all right? It also provides us with an alternative to the dollar, just like he's talking about.
Yes, exactly.
All right, we got some crypto here. We got some gold and silver here. We got something else we can
Less
use
demand
here.
for the dollar.
Absolutely. Right. Death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah, yes, exactly.
Now, a lot of people don't know that, and maybe some people are aware, there are things like the Kinesis money system. Kinesis.money, if you go to their website, you can learn all about it. But what they've done, they've been operating since 2018 in Europe in over 150 countries. And Kinesis takes gold and silver and they tokenize it. And it's backed, secured by blockchain technology, and it's 1-to-1. They call their tokens KAU for the atomic symbol of gold on the periodic chart of elements. So K for Kinesis, AU. Each KAU is 1 gram of gold.
Okay.
Each KAG is 1 troy ounce of silver.
Ooh, I like that.
So it's tokenized. It's secured with blockchain. They have multiple vaults around the world. They have vaults in Switzerland, Europe, England, United States, and I believe also in Australia. They've been using this system since 2018 in Europe. You'll get an account and a debit card. When you slide your debit card, they transmogrify some of your gold or silver, whatever you specify, to the local fiat currency to complete your transaction in a matter of seconds. And of course, there's a fee. Their fee is reasonable. It's 0.45%. So slightly less than 0.5%, whereas your normal debit card is going to be 3% or something like that. So 0.5%. But you swipe your card. That way you have an account that's not a bank account outside of the banking system, outside of the US dollar system.
So my buddy Aaron Day, who was with us before, he was talking about, he has this idea for a gold-backed privacy coin.
Now you're talking. That's what I'm thinking
called
about.
Karma. And
called what?
Karma. He wants to call it KAURMA.
Yes.
And I wish he was here so we can ask him
This may be
about
the
it.
sort of thing that you want to.
But my initial, as soon as I heard it, I was like, wow, that's actually genius. But how do you avoid confiscability? That's the only concern when you deal with gold and silver is confiscability. Because they've already done it.
It's a problem.
Yeah.
But they're clever people out there. They're clever people out there. And they're clever people in this room and at this festival. And
not us.
Well,
I'm
maybe not that clever either, but that's not my area of expertise, learning how you would hide precious metals from being confiscated. But there are ways, almost anything is possible.
Okay, fair enough.
All right. So we need to be thinking about these things. This is how new technologies come about. People have dialogues. We come up with ideas. We sit around the campfire.
Hell yeah, I
Right?
agree. I agree. And I
um,
think
and old school gold and silver comes to me new school cryptocurrencies, and I'm very interested in what I'm hearing about privacy coins, because my ultimate fear absolutely is a CBDC.
Yeah.
That will be the end of freedom as we know it.
Well,
and that's why I love gold and silver,
Well,
because they really protect our liberty.
Right. Well, you know, we were talking about before with Aaron Day about how they have this Genius Act and the Stable Act, and how these are backdoors to CBDCs.
Yes.
And how what we've done in Zano is we have created the Freedom Dollar, which is the ticker symbol is FUSD.
And maybe something like
FUSD.
that, if you could back that.
Yeah, the first
with
private
with gold and
decentralized
or silver
stablecoin built on
somehow.
a private blockchain. If you want to avoid a surveillance stablecoin, it's the only game in town. So, Freedom Dollars. All right. Before we kick you out of here, give us some final thoughts and where people can, you know, follow you and stuff like that.
Citizens for Sound Money. We're working on various states. The legislation was passed in Florida, but they have to put into place some rules as far as implementation of it, some rules and things. And so they'll be re-voting on it again early next year. And so we're working on tweaking that legislation to make it a little better, because the Senate and the Senate staff did put some things in there that we did not want. So we're going to work on trying to have some of those things perfected. Our legislation was also picked up. The Florida legislation was picked up by Texas. So they're working with the same legislation, trying to pass the same bundle in Texas.
Nice.
But our organization, and we're also working to get it happen here in New Hampshire. But in New Hampshire, there's a fellow by the name of John Hunt, who I believe is in the New Hampshire House of Representatives, and he's been holding up the legislation here. But our organization—
Fuck you, John Hunt.
Yes, absolutely. And our organization is Citizens #4 Sound Money, citizensforsoundmoney.org. So you can come see us there. And if you want to learn about the Kinesis monetary system, go to kinesis.money. That's a great place to go. Because you guys were talking about investments before. A lot of people don't realize we're in a capital rotation event. The stock market is way overvalued, and it's about to come down, right? Everybody's going to be moving. This has happened before, where people move from the stock market and they move into commodities. Gold and silver are going to outperform. From the beginning of this year to now, what's outperforming Bitcoin?
Gold, yeah.
Gold is.
Yeah.
And silver is about to outperform gold.
Right, I know.
It just broke out above $35.
Silver's got a lot of upside potential to it.
Yeah, it's made about a 45-year cup and handle on the, if you're a technical chartist, very, very, very bullish pattern, and it's a huge one. And so I've been waiting for a long time for this to happen. I've been following this for over 20 years.
And as an agorist, I love small
it's gonna
denominational silver because it's great for small transactions.
Absolutely.
You exchange. It's great in a shit it's a fan situation. I just love small denom silver.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know a huge amount about it, but like it just makes sense. A lot of people would probably trust a physical thing rather than like crypto.
Absolutely.
Like people, not everyone understands crypto or how it works.
Intrinsic value.
You know?
The value is there in your hand.
Right. You have it. It's not like, I mean, if you the government can't reach in and just take it from your bank account, like taxes or whatever. If you owe the government something, they can't just take it out. At least you have it physically. You can feel a bit more secure with it. So I guess that's where the appeal of using a physical item.
Absolutely. And it doesn't all, and it has to move. It has to move to participate in a vibrant economy. We can't just sit on our gold and silver under our mattresses. That's why tokenizing it brings it to the modern world, where we can do transactions internationally across state lines and things like
Amazon, shit like that. Yeah.
Yep. And so it just, the legislation in Florida that was passed allows for that. It allows for electronic transfer of ownership of said constitutionally legal tender gold and silver. All right. We're not creating a new currency, but we're just transferring ownership of it electronically.
Oh yeah. Cool, man.
It's amazing.
Appreciate
It's a
your
very,
time.
very exciting time because we got 10 states that have done it, and there are going to be others that are that are going to follow. So it's a really big
Anything
deal.
to get people off, wean people off of the fiat teat of the parasite.
One thing I would say to some people, last thing I'll say is you're probably better off in the immediate term buying, if you're in the United States, if you're a United States citizen, you're probably better off buying United States U.S. Mint legal tender bullion coin. We're talking the American Silver Eagle, the American Gold Eagle, the
It's
American
cheaper.
and the American Gold Buffalo. Their premiums tend to be a little bit higher than some of the other coins. But here's the thing. They're the ones that are most likely going to be cleared to escape capital gains. President Trump has talked about his golden age. They're probably going to do a reevaluation of the gold. And they may revalue it. They may just bring it up to market. Right now, all the gold that we supposedly hold in Fort Knox and the other mints, the Denver Mint, the Philadelphia Mint, San Francisco, all that gold that we have needs to be audited. Right?
Yeah, right.
We definitely
Well,
need to get to an audit.
We're still waiting on that, Trump.
Yeah, well, yeah, but legislation has just been introduced for that by Thomas Maskey from Kentucky. He's a great libertarian. So we're hoping that that's going to come through. But Trump has talked about the golden age. And I don't think he just means gold for thee. I really think he means gold for we the people. They're talking about, because all the gold that the United States supposedly owns is on the books for $42.44. That's what it's marked.
I hope you're right.
Ounce. $42.44 per ounce on the books. They could just mark it to market value. And that brings it up to, that will give them a big chunk of money to kind of make our financial situation look a little more stable. They may bump it up to 10,000 and back the M1 money supply. But the big thing that we need to do is eliminate the capital gains tax that the IRS is still trying to assess. This is where it gets outrageous. It just makes me so angry. U.S. Mint, legal tender, gold and silver bullion in the mother constitution, right? And yet the IRS wants to tax it at the highest capital gains rate of 28% for collectibles. We're talking like Beanie Babies, baseball cards, things like that, numismatic coins. We're talking gold and silver that's bullion. It's legal tender coming out of the U.S. Mint, and then the other side out the other side of their face and say, oh, we're going to hit you with the highest capital gains tax on your money. The only reason the gold and silver goes up is because they keep printing up the fiat dollars. It's just outrageous. Yeah, it just makes the smoke come out of my ears, as you can see.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, look into that. Kinesis.money, Citizens for Sound Money. And thank you very much for your time.
I appreciate your time, bro.
It. Think about, let's see if we can get that together with some privacy coins. I'd like to see a metals backed privacy coin. I think that might be a good idea.
All right.
Thank you very much for your time too.
Take care, man. Should we try to get Doug another beer? Should we call it quits? I don't see Doug. I think he left us.
he may be.
I think he's gone. I wanted to get Doug in here to talk a little bit about Monero. He was just here and now he's MIA. Sorry.
Everyone's it's drink o'clock, I think.
Okay. Doug's gone.
We should go celebrate my birthday, I think.
It's his 63 years
63, going on 73. Yeah.
R.I.P.
Guys, thanks for... Oh, he's here.
Uh-oh.
All right. We got a few more minutes in us, guys.
Do we have him here? Someone has to go on a beer run. Is it me or
Yeah.
you?
No, we can wait. A few minutes and then we'll go.
Are we not going?
No,
we're
you can keep that shit away.
Uh-oh. The
5 years
one
off it. 5
and
years.
only. The one and only, everybody. Me too. Driving.
Yeah.
No.
No, you got to scream. You got to scream.
Oh, that one works?
We had another mic this whole time.
Hello. Yeah.
All right, hold on. Let me just pop this off.
You guys have been going a while because I was
Yeah,
watching this for part of my car ride back up from New York.
Yeah, we've gone a bit longer than we typically would. But we had so many guests we wanted to get on, so we thought we'd push it tonight. You know, we're at Porcfest. It's got to be done. So
how's it been?
It's been a great time. This is my first time. Yeah. Like he's been talking about it for like 6 months, and yeah.
And here you are.
Here I
Made it
am. It's
happen.
fantastic.
No regrets, right?
No, zero.
I believe
maybe in the morning after drank my
morning after.
Yeah, but
the walk of shame as you
no,
walk
no,
out of
the
the naked area of
stride of
Porcfest and everybody
pride,
sees you.
stride
Like,
of pride. Yeah.
I think Doug is the first guest we've had on the show twice.
Yeah.
This constitutes.
you are.
I'm the only guy who's been on
the
your show
only
twice.
recurring guest.
That's impressive that you could get that many new guests.
It's our producer Alex. Shout out Alex.
Shout out for
where's
Alex. He is controlling.
He refused to come. We
He's not
tried to
here.
get him here.
He's not here. He's
him and his boyfriend had, I don't know, something to do in Miami. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
I
We
love
love you,
Alex.
Alex.
Alex, what's up,
the
brother?
man.
Yeah.
Doug, all I do is talk about privacy coins. This is the name of your game. How did you get involved? You knew before I did. How did you know? I was
Turn this
still
into like
stuck on
another 6 hours of show. We're gonna
Yes.
go.
Let's go. Let's go.
I thought. Well, why am I a Monero?
I thought pseudonymity was sufficient for a long time, and it wasn't until recently that I realized that anonymity was not optional. You knew that before I did.
I mean,
didn't.
honestly, really, for me, I wasn't. It wasn't so much obviously privacy is a part of it, but it was the fungibility really that got me excited about Monero, because I just saw that as a key component of digital cash. You need privacy for that to be the case, but the technicality of having a fungible asset, right?
And you knew,
and I thought that's what Bitcoin was, right? I thought one Bitcoin always equaled one Bitcoin. But I realized early on, well, relatively early, that that's not the case. When I actually started using Bitcoin myself, to buy stuff online just to see how it worked, right? And then I'd go on the Block Explorer to check my transaction. I mean, cool, it went through. I'm like, wait, but if I could see it,
right,
everybody else could see it.
Yeah.
Or like I'd send my buddy like, yo, check out this thing, Bitcoin. And I'd send him a little bit. You go, oh, cool. Like, oh wow, and you already have a couple in your wallet. That's pretty like,
yeah.
I'm like, wait a minute, why does he know how many
Yeah.
So it's from the using it that I realized, Bitcoin had a critical flaw in terms of not being default private, because money doesn't work. I mean, cash doesn't work if it has a transaction history attached to it, right? I mean, that's
but were you reading Mises? Like, were you reading Rothbard? How did you know that fungibility? Because you're right, and I knew that, but I didn't. I was like, yeah, they said fungibility, but
well, I started to, when I got into crypto, I started to study money, right? Like,
he's just smarter than you. As simple as that.
No, seriously.
I wouldn't say that.
No, seriously, Doug knew before most people. That's the truth.
Well, when I read the Bitcoin white paper, I did read it from the standpoint of like a patent attorney. I'm actually a patent attorney. Like,
are you? Oh,
I don't practice.
No, what the fuck?
What kind of show has this become?
I've never like really practiced, but I passed the patent bar back in the day. I'm also a New York attorney, and I'm an engineer.
I don't know.
I'm a civil engineer as well.
I'm kind of fascinated by patent law a little, just because
I never talk about this at
that's
all on my
fine.
show or anything. But
You don't even have to. But
the only reason I'm bringing it up is because when I read the Bitcoin white paper, I read it from the standpoint of like a patent attorney, right? And that's reading,
which is a big deal. You probably don't know.
And reading, you know, an invention, right? That's reading, right? And so when you read it, you try to figure out what is the core value proposition. When you're a patent attorney, you're trying to figure out like what is the inventive step? What is making something new, useful, non-obvious, and like what is the invention, right? Was it that, you know, you can send transactions cheaper than credit card? Was it like, no, the invention was that you could send peer-to-peer, and this sounds pretty obvious because it was literally the title of the white paper, so you could send peer-to-peer digital cash.
Yeah.
So that, you know, became my focus, and like that was the aha moment with me, was that somebody cracked that. That was the invention. They figured out how to send something digitally without doing a double spend and without it being running on some centralized server, right?
So for me, it was.
So then it was always the hunt for the thing that actually fulfilled what the white paper had defined as the invention, what they had invented. And then even Bitcoin itself fell short from that, from what was really proposed in the white. I mean, ultimately it didn't have to fall short, but it fell short because they didn't evolve. They didn't add the tech that they needed to add. They didn't upgrade. They didn't add confidential transactions. They didn't try to make it private. They didn't try to make it fungible. They didn't try to make it cheap on chain for transactions to be sent. So it was all there and proposed in the white paper, and that was the vision. But then it was just a failure of execute or co-opted, right? It was potentially whatever. I guess it was co-opted, but
okay,
for whatever reason, it didn't continue to evolve towards being digital cash.
All right, so you you found privacy coins in Monero. Where can people spend Monero? Where do I use it as P2P cash?
You use it on XMR Bazaar.
Boom, right there.
So XMR, I started that about a year ago. Obviously, I'm not the developer.
What can I buy and sell there? Tell me about it.
Somebody just put a house for sale in
Argentina.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that's really cool.
And we've seen other properties
That's
pop up
amazing.
as well.
In
But this one
Monero.
is like actually like, oh wow, that's a nice, enticing. Yeah,
That's
Are
really
you gonna
cool,
move to
guys.
Argentina?
I mean, I look at the like XMR Bazaar is probably going to determine my my future.
That's XMR BAZAAR.
Yes,
check it out, guys.
XMR Bazaar. It's
Just in
free,
case.
free to make a listing. You know, super easy to make an account. But true to Monero, all the transactions are completely peer to peer. The platform never holds anybody's Monero. None of the Monero ever go through the platform. So it's not decentralized. You know, it's running on a server, but it doesn't gather any information about. It's really just like a listing service.
No
it's like
KYC.
it's like Craigslist,
Yeah,
right?
You're,
It's like
you're not putting any
Craigslist.
info. It's just a post.
Yeah, it's just
like-
listings, but then
yeah.
we have the Monero payments built into it, but you're just using your own wallets as you use it, and then we also have multi-sig built into it.
Hell yes.
And it's gaining people are using it. We have 3,000 because I'm preparing because I'm going to do a presentation on it tomorrow. So as I was driving up back from New York, I was talking to the guy who develops it, Anarchio. Shout out to Anarchio, by the way. Amazing. He's done amazing work for XMR Bazaar. He also designed Kuno. But he said we're at 3,000 unique users, and these are people that actually didn't just create an account, but they like logged in. And then they set up their private messaging, PGP. So that's like 3,000 legit. Which doesn't sound like a lot,
that's
but
a
for a
lot.
year,
That's great.
like that actually set up the PGP
yeah.
because we could see that they set up their messenger, right? So it's like they're actually active.
Oh yes.
3,000 users. So that's exciting, right? And so the goal.
That's how we win by creating the tools that we actually use to actually facilitate P2P cash.
And this is
Not
not a
just an
new
idea,
idea, right?
yeah.
This is the first idea, one of the first ideas in Bitcoin. Even in the original implementation of Bitcoin, when Satoshi launched it, he had started to build a marketplace.
Yes.
as part of the
Yes.
initial launch of Bitcoin.
Yes, most people don't know that.
Yeah, and then obviously we have Ross, who's going to be here tomorrow, and
course.
he built the first like useful app, which was a dark market, right? So like that's always been the promise of crypto. But what's interesting about XMR Bazaar is I think it's right place, right time.
Yes.
They tried Open Bazaar as well, but that failed. It failed really because Bitcoin transaction fees are too high on chain, right? Monero is built to be used. It's not just private. It's built to be used as digital cash. So it's like a fraction of a cent to send a Monero transaction on chain. So I think it's kind of the right place, right time for XMR Bazaar and Monero. And people are actually, and that's the other thing too, right? Like with Bitcoin, to go use Open Bazaar, right? It was cool. People wanted to do it, but they were kind of just doing it because they wanted to like try to make Bitcoin feel like it has a utility.
You're right. It felt forced.
Right.
Yeah.
But what didn't feel forced is Silk Road.
No,
because they
right.
were like, yo,
Yes.
I want to buy
This
drugs.
was the
I
only
want to sell
place I
drugs.
could buy.
But they were so willing to do it, but they didn't realize, even if they did realize if it was flawed, they were still willing to risk doing it because there was like, this is still better than anything else. We can't use PayPal. We
Right,
can't use this.
yeah.
We could use this digital cash. Oh, by the way, it's completely traceable. So, but that's the difference with Monero. It's not. So like the use case there is real. Like it makes sense to go out of your way and use XMR Bazaar if you want to sell stuff, because now you're selling it for untraceable digital cash. Nobody knows, how much money you're taking in, right? You don't have any corporate, like there's value in that, right? If you're doing with Bitcoin, maybe not so much, because like you have to go through the process of, like, it's not easy to use crypto compared to like credit cards. But where you really get the advantage is with the privacy. That is like the core advantage, is when it acts like cash. Otherwise, there's really no point in using crypto. It's like a pain in the ass to do.
And that's great for someone like me who's new to it. I mean, my only understanding of it was just a thing to get rich quick. But now, like entering it early and learning, you've taught me about the privacy aspect of it. It's really appealing.
Yeah.
Like
if I'm gonna post for consulting services in XMR Bazaar, I'm some kid living, I don't know, some young teenager living in Afghanistan, right? And I'm gonna go like post my consulting services because I'm a programmer or whatever. I'm learning program. Like, of course he's gonna want to get paid in untraceable digital cash.
Yeah. I don't want to pay
really
tax.
the only way you'd be able to hire that guy.
Yeah.
So that's the real value proposition of it, is using it as untraceable digital cash. All of crypto, I'd say.
And I'll tell you what, Monero has done really, really well in the recent, in the recent past.
Yeah.
It's outperformed a lot of coins.
Right. I've only started using it recently, and
it's been around
pretty
for
solid.
a long time.
Yeah.
I mean, it's been around since 2014. It's it's one of the first altcoins, and it's a true altcoin. It's not a version of Bitcoin. It's its own protocol. Runs on the crypto note protocol, which I know you guys love talking about Zato.
Developed by the homeboy,
Yeah.
Andrei Salnikov.
I don't think we've mentioned Zano at all tonight.
But,
I don't think so.
Props to him, though, right?
Yeah,
and that's why I always say that's why I give Zano respect,
Yeah.
because I'm going to listen to the guy who designed.
It's more than a coin,
helped
though.
create the
It's a
first
whole
implementation of crypto.
platform, and
Yeah.
they're building other technologies on top of it, and
So
it is just great.
We've been obviously talking about privacy coins all night.
Yeah.
But the ecosystem has gotten so it's matured, and it's gotten so diverse. And one thing that we've been, everybody on who has come on stage tonight has mentioned, is like how wonderful it is that like we can have Monero and Zano,
Yeah,
and
all the
Pirate
teams
Chain,
together, and
Firo, and everybody's like, it's
no
not
animosity, like whatsoever. Like,
right. Whereas like in a lot of other crypto circles,
Yeah.
it's like Bitcoin only.
yeah, that's the only one. You can only use that one.
That's
like,
what Monerotopia is all. That's like the conference. Obviously we're doing here, but that when we're the first Monerotopia conference, that's what it was like. Second one, and we continue to push that further. But I do get blowback for it like all the time.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
There are Monero maxis out
Yeah.
there that are like, "What are you doing?"
But it just hurts.
Tell you,
Yeah.
call off the troops.
So like
because-
Monerotopia, because MoneroCon exists. I don't know if you're not familiar with MoneroCon. That's like
Yeah.
the first Monero. That's
Of course.
happening right now. Actually,
Yeah,
as
yeah,
well.
If I wasn't
I think
here,
we're
would be
streaming.
there.
I think we're streaming there, right?
If I wasn't here, I
Yeah.
would
Yes.
be.
Yeah, I
there.
believe we are.
Yeah.
What's up, guys?
Actually, right now, probably not because it's like super late
Maybe
or super
yeah,
early
they may
or
have cut
whatever,
us off. But what time is it?
Quarter after
Oh.
11.
Oh, it's my birthday's almost over, and I'm not even drunk yet. That's a crime.
But my point
Um,
is, I think it's good to have that in this space. We want it to be people to be open-minded, in it for the technology, in it for digital cash. And yeah, you might be interested in Pirate Chain, or you might be, but the community of people that actually care about digital cash is so small that to then like divide those people,
Yeah,
we're just shooting
absolutely.
ourselves.
Because you're not going to convince
exactly,
everyone to
right.
pick one thing.
And so
like,
if your crypto is what you think it is, then you shouldn't feel self-conscious about talking about other projects. Like
Bingo.
obviously, and Monero, Monero's got a big set of balls, right? Like Monero should not care
Yeah, right.
if Xano is sitting there like no offense, but like it's
Yeah.
the winner, it's the leader
Well,
in digital cash, right? So like it shouldn't then care that there's other people that want to talk about other things. Like
Yeah.
that just looks weak
Well,
to
you know,
me. If you're
Dan-
not willing,
you are
to like,
your own enemy. You know what I mean? Like, but do better than you. Don't focus
Right.
on trying to do better than.
and if
just
you
had-
actually
Especially when you have the
have
same
like
goal.
the best, if you're competing, you have the best project, then you shouldn't care. You're just going to learn from the other projects, and you're going to adopt their technologies if they're better.
just inspire
Yeah.
the other
But to
guy
cut
to
them
do better.
out,
Like, yeah,
there's
without
really no
competition,
benefit.
you have no drive.
Right.
Competition's good. You know,
Yeah.
that's why we want
Right.
a free market. Like it motivates you to do better. You know.
Right.
We just had Daniel from Pirate Chain here, and one of the things that he said that I thought was poignant was like, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket either. Like it's nice to have a multiplex of options.
Because if one goes down,
for the
what do you do
privacy
then? You know.
community, or whatever. Maybe
well,
one
Yeah, I mean
works
that's
better
a
and-
smart. Obviously, that's it's always good to hedge, but I mean, I'll be my obviously I'm a Monero maxi to a degree. I'm a
Well,
Monero
obviously,
maximalist.
You're like
But I'm
a-
open to talking about all the other projects and open to learning about them. But I don't ignore the fact that Monero has the, essentially the first mover advantage, and it has the network effect.
It's a
right?
leading coin.
So
in the
that's when I start to
privacy
sound like a
world.
maxi, because that's what the Bitcoiners always
But
say.
that's
Like
not,
we have the network
that's
effect.
not a maxi. That's just the truth. It's
Yeah.
the leading coin in the privacy world right now.
So, hedging your bets is interesting, but it's also, if some newfangled privacy coin comes out tomorrow, chances are, even if it's doing something that's technologically like a breakthrough, chances are it's like just not going to
So
replace
that's what I wanted to ask you. So-
Monero, right? Because Monero has gotten this far already in terms of adoption and usage, while also continuing to evolve. Unlike Bitcoin, which really has stopped evolving.
You're
on the
right. You're
technology,
right.
Like Monero hasn't stopped. It's like it's willing to constantly
Full chain
adapt.
membership.
But
proofs.
but most people buy Bitcoin for financial, not like privacy.
Yo, yeah, 100%. They
So,
buy it
yeah.
because it's
a different
digital piece of
motivation. And I
property,
mean, not everyone that's going to buy all these other coins, privacy coins, are necessarily in it for privacy. They might just want it for money, but that's still a win, if we're not using these.
No, well, so I mean, in terms of the hedge with privacy coins, is looking at other projects that are doing things that Monero can't do, or that it's not really looking to do, right? So that's where I think Xano becomes interesting. Tari, right? Like the Ethereum of privacy coins, right?
So do you think?
But in terms of like other privacy coins trying to be digital cash, I think you're kind of wasting your time. No, like if you're trying to find another one that might fulfill that purpose, because it really is going to be a winner take all in terms of the digital cash
Okay, but
utility.
we see confidential layer is going to get launched on Xano. Firo is launching Spark assets where we can tokenize assets now. And trade
Right,
them in
that's
a
something you
private-
can't do on Monero. I mean, like eventually, but it's not its focus.
But when
Monero does
we
not
have
want to like.
that, and we start seeing people tokenize real world assets and then tokenize pseudonymous chains. Do you think that's going to drive enough demand into not only Xano and Firo, but I think there's going to be more chains that offer these tokenization, this private tokenization. Is that going to draw market share away from Monero?
I think it's just going to create a new ecosystem. I don't think it's going to like steal Monero's lunch. right? It's just like when Ethereum came, it didn't really steal from Bitcoin, right?
Right,
It's
right.
just fulfilling a different use case.
Right.
So I think they'll, and those use cases are like the smart contracts and all that stuff, and that still has yet to be won by a privacy project. I think that's something where it's like the race is still on. In terms of digital cash, I feel like Monero is pretty much cemented as going to be the tool that people use for actual cash-like transactions. I don't know if you're taking questions over here.
What's up, brother?
Yeah.
Zano versus which coin?
Tari.
I'm not that familiar with Tari.
Just like why we like Xano.
So
pretty
the
much.
difference between Zeno
Yeah,
and
no,
Tari.
but why would you? Basically what he's asking is why you would choose Xano over some of the other coins, and why we love Xano.
They're like very different. Like they're built differently. Like Tari uses like Mimblewimble and all. It's like different technologies. But they are, in a way, like big picture zooming out, they're both trying to do similar things, and that they're both trying to kind of be the Ethereum of privacy coins. This is like a really, probably a lot of, if somebody's like hardcore into either of those projects, they're probably cringing as I'm saying that, but like big picture, that's really what they're trying to do, right? They want to be like the Ethereum. And then you also have other ones like DarkFi that's coming out. That's also good, like aiming for that same space. But yeah, you could, check out. I'm sure you've seen the show. We had Tari on a couple of weeks ago, so that's a good show to watch for people that want to like understand Tari.
Oh, I'll have to watch that.
We had
one.
Fluffy Pony on and Naveen. Would love to get them to participate in Monerotopia Mexico, for Tari to come down, and then for Xano to be there as well, and like have them on stage, right? Like
let's go
on a panel, right?
And
then you're asking that question to the devs of Tari and Xano, right? And
I can't
that's awesome.
Speak for the other team, but the Xano team are just awesome people,
Except for Quentin.
Except for fuck that guy,
No, I'm just kidding.
He's not
my
here, is he?
favorite.
He's not here, is he?
I love
Okay,
them
cool.
all.
Yeah, fuck him. No, but it's just a cool company, and they just have like a really good vision,
The thing about Tari is obviously a little bit more easy to like by the Monero community.
The transitions easier.
Fluffy Pony was the lead dev of Monero for many years, and then he started Tari. So there's like a lot of people in Monero that like respect Fluffy, right? So there's that, and then also the fact that Tari is actually merge mined with Monero. That's a huge one. And that's been quite effective too, and like. So you understand the concept of like merge mining. So basically, when anybody who's mining Monero could also, without any additional cost, mine Tari at the same time. So Monero community likes that, because that's just going to make mining Monero more attractive, because now you'll get more rewards when you're trying to merge mine as well. So that's another reason why it's a little bit more
all right,
acceptable in the Monero community.
Let's wrap things up here. We've been going for a while.
Yeah, you guys have been going forever.
This is our longest
fresh
stream,
off an
longest
8-hour drive.
to date,
so
yeah.
I was down
We're almost at 20,000 viewers.
Yeah.
Make the case for Monero, and then any final points you have. Wrap it up for
Where
me.
to follow you, all that good.
I mean,
stuff.
I think I made the case for Monero already, right?
You have.
It's
drive it home.
The only other
Just drive it home.
aspect I'll add to it,
please,
and when I talk about like what is the value proposition, untraceable digital cash, but unstoppable untraceable digital cash. That's another key component, right? Like, is how
we don't say that enough, actually.
How unstoppable is Tari? How unstoppable is Xano? How unstoppable is Firo? And what goes into that? It's like, what is the hash power of your network? How decentralized is it? How decentralized are the devs? What attack vectors are there? And Monero has like really interesting technologies outside of its privacy that makes it arguably like the most unstoppable. So it's resistant to being mined by ASICs. So it's only CPU mined. So that creates like a more egalitarian mining network, where you don't just have these large monopolies that rise up where it's just like literally one company that's doing all the mining for Bitcoin. It has dynamic blocks, so there's never going to be a block size war, right? Which is an intentional attack. It has tail emission, which we don't need to get into. Yeah, I mean, that's a whole discussion on itself, but that arguably makes it more unstoppable because its security is known, right? We know that there's always going to be an incentive to mine Monero. And so that's just another thing to consider when you look at these projects. Don't just look at like the tech and there's some newfangled thing that came out like, oh, we're more private than Monero or we're more private than Zcash. You got to look at the holistic picture and figure out, is this thing unstoppable, untraceable digital cash? So to have all those features and that, is it already being used? Is it being adopted? And you got to take all that stuff into account. And that's why I'm Monero first, because I think it kind of checks all those boxes.
Fucking great, Doug Tuman, guys.
Yeah, thank you, man.
Where do we follow you, and where can I listen to your podcast?
I do the Monerotopia live show every Saturday. So you could find me there. I'm at Douglas Tuman on X. The Monerotopia conference is happening next February, so you go to monerotopia.com.
Am I going?
Yeah, come on.
I'm inviting myself.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Yeah, I already invited
myself.
you. No, yeah, you've been invited already, of course.
Let's go.
Shill. Oh, XMR Bazaar. I'll shill that. And yeah, that's it. At Douglas Tuman on X.
Appreciate you, bro.
Yeah,
You're the
thank
man.
you, man.
Thank you.
You guys
All
are
right,
awesome.
we gotta buy this guy a fucking beer for his birthday.
Many 10
you
beers
guys for tuning in.
Yeah,
we
happy
love
birthday.
you guys.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure. And
Yeah, you catch us next week, 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on X.
every Wednesday.
Every Wednesday.
This is a special episode. Normally we
Yeah,
don't do
this is a double
This is for you
episode
guys.
week.
We had the opportunity to bring you guys, Doug and Aaron, and the Zeno guys, and the Pirate Chain
And the
guys
Edge
who wanted to
team,
do it,
yeah.
But, this was fun, and now it's his birthday, so it's time to go find the whiskey guy.
Yeah.
All right. See you
Thank
guys.
you guys.
Adios.
Peace.
Thank
Adios.
you.
I'm Sal the Agorist, and if you've been around here long enough, you know I don't just talk privacy, I live it. To me, privacy isn't some buzzword or marketing gimmick. It's a non-negotiable part of living free, opting out, and taking back control of your financial life. That's why I'm excited about this. Zeno, one of the most private blockchains in crypto, is now available in Edge Wallet, a self-custody crypto wallet that actually respects your sovereignty. Zeno is a fully shielded blockchain. Everything you do on it is private by design. We're talking encrypted transactions, hidden addresses, and confidential transaction amounts on the blockchain. That's next level privacy. And now with Edge, using Zeno is actually simple. You can store, send, and trade Zeno directly inside the Edge app. Fully self-custody, no personal information required, and no tracking of sends and receives into and out of your account. Let me say that again. With Edge, you don't need to trust a third party or hand over your ID just to hold your own money. That's how it should be. Most Zeno wallets have you write down a 26-word seed phrase, but Edge does it differently. You log in with a secure username and password that only you have access to. Edge doesn't store any of this information themselves, and everything gets encrypted locally on your device. That's self-custody made usable. And if you ever need to, you can always access your seed phrase in the app at any time. Getting started takes seconds. Download the Edge app, create a PIN, tap to add a Zeno wallet, and you're done. No custodians, no leaks, no friction. And here's the best part. Edge automatically encrypts and backs up your wallet using secure peer-to-peer cloud servers. Your data is never exposed, and Edge can't access your info in any usable form. If something happens to your device, just reinstall the app, log in with your username and password, and everything's right where you left it. You can even enable one-touch two-factor authentication for extra security. And there's a built-in password recovery option, so you don't have to risk losing access forever. Edge also supports other privacy coins like Monero, Zcash, Firo, and R. So if privacy is your thing, this is the wallet you have to get. If you're an agorist, a builder, a voluntarist, a freedom maxi, or just anyone who wants their financial life off the radar, this is the stack for you. Zano gives you confidential transactions. Edge gives you user-friendly, private self-custody. Together, this is the way that cryptocurrency was meant to work. Download Edge at dl.edge.app/sal and add Zano. And take back control of your money without compromise. Because privacy is no longer optional, it's your edge.